Hopefully that did it. I don't know. This is really, oh boy, it's frustrating. I'm not gonna let it be frustrating to me though. It says I got an excellent connection. Uh, I'm looking at it live, so hopefully this is good. It is 8:25. We're going into the overview hour. Hopefully this will do it. Frame missed due to rendering lag, 17%. Anyways, yeah, as I was saying, we went through a big sharp downtrend or spike this morning. It knocked some accounts back a little bit, but we're going to try to regain those losses through wow, man, this sucker really did the thing on us. It really did the thing on us. So we were looking for news. And
Market enthusiasts call it a golden cross, indicating a positive shift in asset prices, and now this marker has finally appeared on the Bitcoin (BTC) weekly price chart. The 50-week simple moving average (SMA) on Bitcoin has crossed over the 200-week SMA for the first time on record, confirming the golden cross. The phrase and its counterpart, the death cross, in which the short duration SMA dips below the long duration SMA, originated in Japan, per some technical analysis textbooks. Spot Bitcoin ETF fee war continued. Many traders see crossovers as forward-looking indicators, with the golden version signaling a long-term bull market ahead. The bullish interpretation could be challenged because averages are based on past data and tends to lag prices. In other words, averages represent what happened in the past, and the first golden cross on the weekly chart is the result of Bitcoin rallying over 70% to $42,700 in 4 months. Thus, seasoned traders consider crossovers as lagging indicators, often coinciding with trend exhaustion. For instance, the weekly death cross confirmed in early 2023 marked the bottom of the bear market. Bitcoin's daily chart golden and death crossovers have a mixed record of predicting bullish and bearish trends. Bitcoin's rally has already stalled, with the cryptocurrency trading 10% lower from highs near $49,000 registered after 11 spot exchange-traded funds, ETFs, began trading in the US last Thursday. Per observers, the bullish momentum has waned due to early ETF flows failing to match the sky-high market expectations. Recommended for you. The net flow of funds for the ETFs has been $965 million, including seed fund. The net flow of funds for the ETFs has been $965 million, including seed funds, a strong start thus far. However, the spot price is down from the launch-driven euphoria as investors set unreasonably high launch expectations. Greg Cipollaro, global head of research at Nadig, said in a newsletter Tuesday. Newsletter every Wednesday. Crypto Long and Short. Sign up for Crypto Long and Short, our weekly newsletter featuring insights, news, and analysis for the professional investor. Sign up. By clicking sign up, you agree to receive newsletter from CoinDesk as Omkar Godbole is a co-managing editor on CoinDesk's markets team. Learn more about Consensus 2024, CoinDesk's longest running and most influential event that brings together all sides of crypto, blockchain, and Web3. Head to consensus.coindesk.com to register and buy your pass now.
Okay, there's the golden cross. But that was in April. What did they say now? Market anew called the golden cross indicates a positive shift to the BTC 50 week moving average. Yeah. Death cross. The first golden cross at the weekly chart result is Bitcoin rallying over 70% over 42,000. Unfortunately, we don't have a weekly chart on here. So, yeah. We're still looking pretty good on crypto. We're still looking good. We just have to realize that all of these dips, they're going to be there because of the fact that some of the ETFs are changing over, selling some of the Bitcoins being bought. So it's just a cycle. So,
consumer stays resilient, possibly dipping into credit card debt as we continue to see that rise. But yeah, interest rates also coming up here as well. The 10-year and the 2-year both up decidedly, 4.275 for the 2-year. Brendo coming off that 4 touch that we had yesterday. So we'll have to wait and see how that does.
Yeah, a couple days in a row, $1.02 back higher. Not going to be helpful as far as stocks are concerned, but lots to look at as far as individual movers today as well. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the NASDAQ. They're still 0.7 right now for the Qs to the downside. The S&P a little bit better off, but lots of individual movers. Again, I mentioned Rivian downside on a downgrade today. We got some more financial earnings as well, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, and Yeah, the Bears a little bit hungover from the work yesterday, apparently. You know, look,
Got more work today.
that's the thing. Like, you know, you got to get your extra
Get up.
rest. The market doesn't open for another 50 minutes. So I think this bear is just gearing up for what feels like a little bit more of a pressure. The good news for the markets is, at least the U.S. markets, is, well, they're not the Chinese names. So like those have been nasty, nasty, nasty. And we're going to look at a lot of levels and a lot of ugly looking charts when we talk about NEO and Alibaba and XPeng. And I got my eyes on Pinduoduo today. Because guess what? They're finally talking about and releasing their youth unemployment rates again.
Right.
Which is cool because magically they're a lot better than they were when they stopped reporting the number, which is what happens when you change the way that you do it so that it looks better. But yeah, China's going to be on top. The good news for the markets have been the chips. Hopefully they can do some heavy lifting if you're looking anywhere bullish today. AMD's up 1%. AMD, let's go, within $2 of its all-time closing high. So that's, you know, that's an absolute rocket ship as well as NVIDIA. So both those names got to be on watch today. We'll talk a little bit Apple and Tesla. But it's hump day because it's a holiday shortened week. But it just feels, again, I know we just had the numbers and the market rolled over a little bit there. Just feels, again, like things are still a little bit heavy.
I just wrote down Rivian downgraded and breaking down yuck and more yuck. I mean, this feels like the market. I mean, we talked about this. Neil started it off with this China news, and I think it is pretty sad. Like, this is FXI. If you're watching the market recap show, we talked about this breaking that $25 mark and what a great short it's been since it lost that support. I mean, it's been boom, straight down there to that downside. And you know, if you're looking for relative strength, this is not the place. Down 3% today for a major ETF. That's pretty bad. And there's going to be other names that are going to be on my watch as well today. We really nailed Baba yesterday to the short side. We'll try to do it again here. As look at this stock. It's just since September. I mean, you were almost 100. Well, you were $100 in July, all the way down to $67 now, with 30% haircut. It's kind of like my haircut. All in just 5-6 months. Like it's really become a problem for some of these Chinese names. NIO, Li Auto, XPeng. I mean, all of them. You know, the safest name in the bunch here, as we've talked about it, Li, down 5. XPeng yesterday was some sort of a flying car. That's down now, down through $10. I mean, some of these names just continue to get worse and worse. Wow, that's down 8%. Do I have that even right? That's crazy. Yep. Whoa, Rivian's at 17 now. Okay, I wrote down, yeah, it's close. It's close to getting through here right now. I wrote down that the support is at 15, which is obvious. So, you know, maybe Rivian's a buy down there. At this point, I don't know. And then the biggest and the baddest of them all continues to make moves downside. At least yesterday, we had this bottom for Tesla that potentially, and again, I'll have to clean up the chart, but potentially will hold down here at 212. So we'll look for a bleed down into that area. But yes, sir, it's a hump day. We're ready to rock and roll here right now. AMD, yeah, just breaking through 160 right now. Downside, Apple's going to probably test that 180 if the market keeps doing this. So yes, I see what you say there, the BG Music Matrix. This is funny. Let me just see what this guy here says, or she says here. It's not even that funny. I like when English doesn't really make sense. Like, this is great. Like, China sink down. I like that.
Boom.
China sink down. Yes, sir. Yes. The BG Music Matrix there, dropping some bars there. China sink down, boys, and USA sink down now too.
Yeah, China not good. I mean, it wasn't a terrible number. Shout out to Frank. We were talking about it yesterday afternoon. If you were with us, GDP comes out 0.1% on the wrong side of things, and we get a huge sell-off overnight in the Asian markets right across the board. And then, as the guys were saying there, yeah, ADR is looking a little ugly to start things off again. I wanted to mention this, TDOC downside as well. Not a lot of volume behind this so far this morning, but we're down here right now on that chart. It's tough to see, but a decent gap. On a downgrade, there was also this, I was reading this morning, 8.5% increase in the short percent since the last report. So 20.39 million shares sold short, which is 14% now of the overall float. So the short's winning the past couple of days anyways.
Yeah, it's been anemic growth for Teladoc the past couple of years, guys. Yeah, DA Davidson having it say today on Teladoc, reducing it from a buy to neutral, cutting the price target to 22 from 33, says the organic growth in the firm has slowed from the pandemic era boost that it got. Listen to this, Brendo. It grew 69% in Q1 of 2021. It grew 8% in Q3 of 2023. So, I mean, just we're talking about night and day difference here. 5 of 27 brokerages have this as a buy, with 22 and a hold.
I mean, at some point, I think the technology is sound, but yeah, as we were saying, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row downside now, guys, for TDOC, 3%.
This is, I want to say this is the third time this year, which is only a couple of weeks, but already the third time, at least in the last 3 weeks, if not this year, that I've seen a stock that has rallied to its 200 period moving average, turned around, and then right when it's on the cusp of making that sort of next move down, which would be the 50 period here, you get a bunch of downgrades on it. It's interesting timing, because if you were shorting the stock, like what more opportune time than when it got up into, or selling the stock, what more opportune time than when it got to that 200 period. That said, Teladoc, it's not the greatest trading vehicle when it's not squeezing, but you can see this range here. It's about 20 bucks up into that 22 and a half where it failed. The 200 period does sit at 19.20, which is halfway. I mean, it's pretty much in the middle of that range. Suppose it would need more of a pop. Anytime I see things like this, double bottom at 20, gap underneath 20, I just think if you're looking for a trade on something with light volume at the open, maybe it does some kind of a weird spike into the $20 level, and then you can short off that. I think the next shoe to drop is it failing the 50 period moving average, and then you'd have a chance to retest some of those lows. But the trend is pretty unbroken here. Like, there are lots of names that got off the bottom and I would say broke the trend. This looked like it was going to do so and then failed when it got to the more obvious. And we talk about support turning into resistance. I mean, that's just a gorgeous example of it there. Gorgeous if you're shorting it on Teladoc. I think at some point, you know, like anything, like the business itself and the technology, there's definitely something there. But yeah, it's a tough road right now in this environment when you're not making money, and you know, you're not turning a profit at this point. People start to have issues valuing the business, especially with rates potentially a little bit higher longer than people expected. I mean, the Fed Fund rate tool for March, you've been essentially drifting down. It was almost as high as 80%, and now starting to drift, and the expectation for cuts is not dwindling, it's just being checked a little bit, and that's putting some pressure on stocks like these, which I don't see any real reason why it wouldn't continue just yet.
So yeah, no, another name that's very, very similar to that, and it hasn't even gotten downgraded yet. Imagine when it does. I'm just gonna say congratulations to everybody. I don't know. Let's just do Bear. And I was just messaging a few people that have messaged me about this Affirm call. You know, we shorted this thing. We talked about it at 50 bucks, and I was like, this thing's going to have a 3 handle on it, and it didn't take too long. 2 weeks down 20% plus. Right now for Affirm. So there it goes, man. There's the 3 handle. So congratulations to everybody on this one. I didn't even add this to the sticky note. It's breaking through 40 bucks, and it's see you later. I mean, we knew this stock was going to make a move like this, but the thing is that this is why we said a 3 handle. You have that 40. Oh man, Affirm was so high at one point. You have this $40 level right here. So let's just wait to see. Obviously, with the market moving down, I think. That if you're short up here, the best thing to do right now would be we win. We win. That's it. It's over. We won. We got the 3 handle in 10 trading days. You made 20%. If you played it with options, you're up a hell of a lot more than that, I would imagine. So I would just say you take something out here, you know, because of this little level there. But if this market continues to bleed, you probably get 38 today anyways. So, you know, put some bids down here. Definitely try to take a bid maybe off the open, but we'll wait to see what happens here with Affirm. My only thing is if the market rallies from this point, Affirm could go to 42-ish, and then you're giving up like 5-10%. So let's wait to see what happens here with AFRM. But hey, there it is, man. Congratulations to everybody. Affirm did it.
Just checking on the call time here for Charles Schwab. I actually don't see it. Charles Schwab, though, beating. Profit dropped, but costly, reporting some higher costs. But anyways, it is down right now, but I just saw some volume come in there through 63 maybe to the downside. So I was just checking on the timing for that. We were going to talk about Netflix. There are a few that are higher as well. I mean, you were mentioning Disney also. On that note about the board and some directors. I mean, Netflix even back to basically flat here, but positive note from Bank of America here for NFLX.
Yes, sir. A couple of positive notes today, Brendo, on Netflix. Good look. KeyBank Capital having their say. Analyst Justin Patterson maintaining the overweight rating and pushing up the price target to $545 from $525. Netflix, one of the only kind of big tech names that's up about half a point at the moment here, Brendo. Netflix, they're basically saying they're likely to guide $9.1 billion of revenue in the first quarter, so that's a good look for them.
Yeah, holding up nicely. $500 obviously on the daily chart. The obvious number, we are far away from that right now, but dead center of the range here, guys. A little bit of relative strength anyway.
I mean, if you're green, you're relatively strong today.
At that in a while.
So it's not saying much when you're up 0.5%, and that's what we're going to go for relative strength. But Netflix, the thing about the 500 level, like, it's almost too obvious if it gets up there again, which I suppose can be a trap if you get to that price. I'm just going to pull a weekly chart up so you can see. I love the weekly chart at times because then you can go back and see how significant some of these prior levels are. But it is a very clean upward trend that the last time it made a top was right at this 450 and did a pullback, and then we burst toward this 500 level. So you're pretty much poised. Like, you're poised for a showdown with this on any market strength. I don't know how you don't, in this market, you probably look short first at that 500 if you see it today, because that's a heck of a move to the upside if you're able to get it. As far as lower highs go, I suppose the only level to look at would be like a double. It closed twice at like 92s. So you had a couple of days in a row where you closed about 492. I think that gives you a nice little area to work off of as well. Because if it could break past 92, hold above that, that gives you some kind of a scalp range into the top. Other than that, like, you're waiting around. The support levels are too far away for me. Like, it's diddling in the middle. Support's too far away. You got a 92 that it would have to break to look for a long. That's going to be a pass. What's interesting about it is, like, I like Netflix more than I like Disney, but that feels like a little bit of a pass, whilst Disney actually was super strong yesterday and broke a recent local top. And we talked about this 92, and then it trended above that 92 level. I almost even give it to this close here at 91.6 and say that's where your dip buy zones are. Actually, draw those lines pretty good. I actually tweeted those out, but drew the same lines. I think this holding either one of those two levels is a good dip buy, just because it's giving you a better action of a trade in terms of getting in front of previous resistance, turning into support. It showed you some relative strength yesterday. If it can hold on to either one of those two levels for a dip buy, I'd much rather those. It's just that Netflix is like diddling in the middle. Don't know that I trade it unless we see 500.
Like, I never trade Netflix. I didn't even realize it was that high up there. So the thing about Disney is we had that NFL chatter yesterday, some chatter about Apple. We had Dan Ives talking about some of that as well. And I was saying that even before last week. We talked about this for a long time, as Disney's always on our mind around here because I own some shares in this name and waiting for it to pop back up. I like the board seats. I like all that kind of chatter there with Disney. I still think they can go here. I do like the fact that Apple could be in the game for something at some point here. I do like the fact that also ESPN, maybe trying to get some NFL rights. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of stuff happening. Plus, you have ESPN Bets right now that seems to be trying to work. And I am trying to talk it up, but it's just about the fact that we've had a nice move off the bottom. And in the last couple of days, like we said, beside the chip names, there hasn't been much action like this. So that's one candle, two candles, nicely done to the upside. And now, guys, you're running really into this 94 level. So I'm super excited about it, because if we can get over 96, we'll have a decent little winner on our hands, because as you guys know, we were buying some of these dips. We first started buying it, I believe I believe our first area where we bought was when we broke into 100, like into here, 92, 93. Then we bought back into here, like 86, 87, something like that, maybe even lower than that. So our average price is pretty good right now, and we're going to see if Disney can break higher. My area in target for the longs is $100. I mean, I just feel that's an interesting level there, and you're just a couple upgrades away from getting back to 100. You know, if the market can actually participate here, we've seen CCL and some of these travel names come back in just a little bit, obviously, as they were really marching. You know, so travel needs to get popular again, and I think it does. I mean, we just went through a big, you know, travel time as far as Christmas and all that is concerned. But, you know, once this weather sort of calms down and people start to say, okay, they get that hangover from Christmas and New Year's and all that, I think travel will be back on people's minds. So let's wait to see here if Carnival and all that can get going off 16 and then Disney off of that $92 level. So I like Disney there. I trade Netflix, but not enough. So I'm going to pass on that and continue to look at Disney. And Funware I see is trading lower today.
Offering.
Yes.
It was. I think it was right at about. Actually, you know what? I think we literally finished the show. Well, the market closed at 4. The show's not over till 4:30-ish. Right. But it was about 4:05 or something when they dropped an offering on Funware. This is why we talk about things like that being a trade. Funware is a trade. It's a penny stock for a reason. I mean, I would argue DWAC the same thing, but Funware is probably a more extreme sense, and it's right back.
Well, I mean, none of these companies make money. Like, I don't even know what the product is. You know, like you got to be careful with a lot of this stuff. They'll be back. Well, like, definitely watch Funware because it's a Donald Trump play, right? We just had Iowa. Like, there's so much more to come here, and then we'll see where we go with DWAC and Funware. But
off to the field of dreams for Funware.
I don't think you should ever hold anything overnight in this space.
Oh, penny stocks?
In this space, because...
Oh, you're talking about the
Yeah, I'm talking about the election stuff. Like, get involved with DWAC when it's moving. Get involved with Funware when it's moving. Like right now, get involved. Like you take your money or loss from yesterday, and now you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, maybe now there's a buy. But you can't be stuck up here at 40 cents and it's down to 15. It's just a nightmare.
Well, I mean the 10 cents, 12 cents, 14 cents. I wanted to quickly just because
it was still up from where it was at the beginning of yesterday.
Well,
right?
if you took the early breakout, you're still up on Funware, although that's nonsense. I mean, you had a 3x, and if you didn't take it,
right,
like that's kind of nonsensical. But
you
said something about travel that I just wanted to point this out on Airbnb.
Jeez.
Airbnb has been, a lot of stocks have rallied, but on the daily chart here, you just now are breaking down that's not a great looking trend line, but if you look at the bottom here at 114, you bounced off it once here at 130. You also bounced the 50 period on the daily. You're now gapping underneath that. So 134 is going to be pretty key for Airbnb here today. I mean, a close above that looks pretty good to hold the trend. A close under would be the first close underneath that trend line since it made that bottom. And I think you could retest the 200 period. There's so many stocks that look like this. They're at like key reversal spots from some upward trends. And Airbnb in the travel space is just another one.
All right, it's worth mentioning here, a few people were discussing this Spirit Airlines again this morning, trying to get back to the upside right now, back to $7. But the volatility and the craziness that we saw late in the day yesterday, don't expect that again. The news is out. The market has digested that, and now we're kind of stuck in this range. But it's going to be more about, if you missed it yesterday, this federal judge comes out and blocks the deal with JetBlue. It's going to be more about where should this thing now be trading if this deal is not going to go through, not necessarily about anything that's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, you and I talking off camera about what the proposed buyout price was. It was a cool $3.8 billion that JetBlue was offering Spirit Airlines. Now Spirit's market cap is about $1.66 billion, so significant haircut there. The federal judge who blocked this yesterday, guys, said the deal would drive up fares for price-sensitive consumers by taking the discount carrier off the market. According to his evidence, that would have been a price increase on the majority of tickets, and he didn't want that. He says too many people are relying on this airline for the cost savings to be just wiped away, Brendo.
Yeah, it's a shame, obviously, with the move downside yesterday. But again, going to be more about where should this be trading now versus what could happen today.
Well, what could happen for them and where it should be trading. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you where a stock should be trading in this particular sense, but I'll tell you that they could be talking about bankruptcy. It is a little chilly in here in Canada and in this office.
In Canada, yeah.
Although it was Celsius, it was minus 23 with the wind chill this morning, which is pretty darn cold. Like that's basically like the weather in KC for that game.
Canada's not. I mean, you saw Buffalo. Buffalo, they couldn't even get the game through, and here the weather was gorgeous. It was
actually
cold,
pretty nice.
We don't get the snow like they get there for sure.
Look, if you're talking about the thing about
gloves are on, baby.
there's a 0% chance you can trade in those gloves.
I am not. No, I can't even. I mean, I can switch.
Look, the funny thing about it is
I can't type anything. I was looking at.
I wouldn't even bet you because like that would you basically be guaranteed. Oh, thank you, Rob. You'd be guaranteed to make a keystroke error with gloves like that.
Oh no, you can't.
There's no chance. Like those are.
The problem is, the thing is, I'd have to. I don't hit any keys that are one key, so I'd have to hit enter. So I'd have to basically make 2 keystrokes.
Well, all you need is you get a coffee heater. Then,
Yep.
thanks to Rob, I got a fresh coffee here. Thank you, Rob. And then I put on the heater and I warm my hands that way. But the only way Spirit is warming up is if someone comes in to save them because they got to find another deal.
Yeah.
The talk is they could be looking at bankruptcy if they don't find another deal. Pioneer apparently might be interested. So when I hear that, anything you trade on Spirit Airlines today, you got to have a stop, in my opinion, anyways. Because if Pioneer, if someone says, "Hey, we'll take a shot at them," they could spike up. If Pioneer or someone else comes out saying there's no interest whatsoever, the stock could halt down, and everything in between. So I just look at the obvious key levels. Yesterday's top about 850. I look to where we closed into this support at about 750 into $8. Looks like a short to pop situation as well. So those 2 levels to look maybe short some pop. But you got to have a stop order out there. There was a long off the bottom, but that was more stock halts down 3 times. Just look for the first bounce. That's a very specific type of trade that is not at all betting on the survivability of Spirit Airlines.
Yeah. I think Spirit here is a crazy long. I mean, you're all the way down here on a broken deal. If someone was going to make this deal in the first place, they're going to do it again, and someone else is going to come in and put an offer on this thing for sure. So, like, I mean...
But if you can just wait for bankruptcy, why would you?
Yeah, no, because it's not even bankruptcy. The stock could be higher than this. I really think that you're going to find somebody coming in here and buying this thing. That bottom rate there, like we just talked about over and over and over again. I mean, look at the drop. This goes all the way back to 2020, right? So that's why we zoom back in here. That bottom was $8 in COVID when we were all not even allowed to walk in the streets. I'm just, so now you're even below those levels. This is a crazy long. So 650, I don't know. I mean, I'll wait for it and watch it, but honestly, this is probably an optionable play back up to the upside right now. Randy, I got the gloves on, man. Thank you. All right. Now we'll see about getting in here. Cheers. Now we'll see.
Now you don't see. You can just hold. You can hold the.
Oh no! The gloves are staying on here.
That's
but
what it's all about.
Bitcoin 42.5. You see it on the bottom right now, moving around. And then a big shout out to Tisha. She wanted to talk about MIMO. I got to be a little careful here. See, I could still change the stocks up a little bit here. Nice move here, 300%. Watch out for 60 cents on here. But all right, stocks are getting upgraded and downgraded literally every day. And Adara's at the big screen.
Speaking of Bitcoin, Marathon Digital Holdings actually the first upgrade on the list today, getting an upgrade from BTIG Research. Polaris getting upgraded by Morgan Stanley. Burlington getting an upgrade from Piper Sandler. And last but not least, Futu getting an upgrade here from JP Morgan Chase. For downgrades, pretty interesting list. Morgan Stanley getting a downgrade from JP Morgan following their earnings yesterday. Rivian, the first of 2 car companies on this list, getting a downgrade from Deutsche Bank. Really interesting. They lowered the price target from 29 to 19, and they also Rivian also received a price target decrease from Wells Fargo. So Rivian definitely on watch today. Teladoc getting a downgrade from D.A. Davidson, and last but not least, second car company on this list, Ford trading a bit lower after getting a downgrade from UBS, guys.
And
Ford's back to that $11 level, which was previously just monstrous on the daily. I don't know how much significance 11's going to have this time around because it broke $10 in this recent dip. But Rivian, one of the few days that it wasn't like a focus short in terms of the EV names because of like other stuff that was also moving. But oddly enough, it made a bounce, and it made things a little bit easier for today because it bounced off 17 yesterday and went right to $18. So 19 was that money spot last week because it gave you multiple days to trade off of that. Thursday and Friday were the two good ones, and Wednesday was not so much. It was trying to break down on Wednesday. You lose that day, then you win the next 2 days on the short. I just think 17 breaking on a flat bottom. If it pops, you're looking to short into the $18 level. But those are two very distinct prices and two very distinct types of trades. There's room down to about 15 bucks. Oh, the other thing Rivian has going, I thought I drew these. Okay, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But this was a stock that probably, I want to say when the trend broke to the upside here. Like I prefer when a stock makes a bottom and breaks the 50 and the 200 period, something along those lines. If it's got an upward trend and then breaks out the top, you probably trap some longs that were looking at this trend, that top end trend line. Whether or not they've exited, like if you were long at 23, if I was structuring a trade and I had done something like that, I'd be out if it broke 19. But I'd suppose you might have some hanging on for things like 15, 16, 17 on the way down. So I think there's some stops to be triggered. 17 is just the first one we happen to be hitting. If it happens to spike here, then it could get to $18. That would just be going back to green on the day. I think you got to be very patient when the stock does make any kind of a run to the upside. But haven't really changed the tone on the EV names. They're shorts until they're not, and you got to really they have to prove that they're not at this point. I'm talking about Fisker, Rivian, Lucid, I don't know, Polestar, I'll throw that one out there. Maybe not Mullen because it's so illiquid now after the reverse split, but pretty much everything else.
Yeah, Mullen, they're definitely, I mean, even, like you were saying, even Tesla there, EV space. I'm trying to fix, this got broken here.
Oh no.
My little picture she took with a Polaroid. Right, I'm just gonna have to glue it on there, that's okay. Screw you, stand. Okay, so this is the thing. I don't know why everybody got so excited about financials when they were literally at the top. We talked all about, I'm putting the gloves back on here. We're gonna put these on here quickly. Got these at Costco, by the way. Shout out to Costco. These gloves were like 10 bucks. No wonder they're shitty. Okay, so yeah, look, everybody got really excited about financials, and I'm not really sure why. They had such a monster run up. Like Morgan Stanley goes from 70 to 94. That's disastrous when that happens right before earnings. The only names that really we want to buy before earnings might be chip names. But this bank is now down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 days in a row and gets all the way back to the 200 period moving average when there's traders that bought this thing up here. I still like the banks, but look at XLF. This is the saving grace for anybody that's actually involved. And it's because XLF is pretty much all JP Morgan. So it's like when you're buying stuff like this, you got to make sure that you understand if the chart ever goes, what's happening. Okay, it's not, there it is. But look at the pullback. So this is being saved, and I'm wondering if now, because the market's pulled back like this, could be a great buying spot right now for the XLF. It's made its move down. You see BAC's down 15, 20%. Morgan Stanley, we just told you, brought it all the way back here. Morgan Stanley's right here right now. So if you like the banking environment, you like what's going to happen with interest rates and all this kind of stuff, I feel like you can buy XLF now. I'm not buying it here, but out of all of the banks, like the big ones, BAC, Citigroup, JP Morgan, we just talked about Morgan Stanley, XLF is actually holding up, and that's because of its huge weighting with JPM. I mean, this is another name that's still hovering around the highs. So I think if you're interested in the banks, you want to buy JP Morgan. I think Goldman Sachs might have even been up yesterday.
At one point.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's still, Goldman Sachs is another one that's hanging out. JP actually broke. Now that I look at this, I think Goldman might be the strongest, actually. Yeah, holding out for that 375 or so break low. If our charts, yeah, see? So this one's actually trying to still hold on here. But if Goldman loses it and Morgan's already lost it and JP Morgan loses it, then we are going to have a little bit, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, crazy. But, if these stocks lose it, then you're going to get a nice little move down. So I don't know, man, all that excitement about the banks. We talked about it yesterday with Brian Shannon. I think you got to let these things fall down. But if you're in the XLF, you hit out pretty safely. Smart move.
Just one thing before we go on, because the XLF, we've talked about how big and monstrous the 37 level is on the weekly chart. And all you're doing is hanging out in the top end of the range. I think this is where you get some excitement in an ETF when it does that. So you can get through earnings, and if you don't break 37 and take out the top, like that's a pretty, it's literally a dollar range on the ETF. It breaks 38, it's got room to make some fresh highs. If it breaks that out, you can stop out underneath 37. It's just diddling in the middle of this range. So as things teeter out, I just want to see which way this one breaks. If it breaks up, I think the long looks great. If it breaks down, it could easily pull back in a couple of points as well. So that's why I like keeping an eye on this, because the good thing about breakout trades is you don't have to necessarily guess the entry. Now, obviously, it means you're buying a top or shorting a bottom, but you don't have to worry about where you get in.
Look at this. Just so everyone understands what I was talking about. Yeah, I did mute myself. Just so everybody understands what I was talking about right here. This is Berkshire Hathaway is the largest holding in XLF. So basically, if you own XLF, you own a shit ton of Apple. So congratulations. All right, back over to the desk.
Breaking news as well. The heat is on in here. It's officially going to be hot in here in about 30 seconds. We're late. Let's go. Let's have a look at the overall market here with Sharif.
All right, we're headed down, guys. Yesterday we closed out a smidge below 4,800. 47.98 is where we closed. The overnight high, 4,800. So I'm going to say resistance, 4,800 support. Yesterday I said 47.75. We've broken through that level. The next obvious level here is that 47.50 area, Brendo, that we got to back in late December, and it's also the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour, 47.50 for support.
If you have not done so, I have a free resource for you. Go to watchlist.tradertv.live. You can also go to tradertv.live and enter your email address. You get that sent then right to your inbox every single day. Again, $0 the fee for that one. Let's go to chips in general, but AMD was so impressive yesterday. It was 8+% at the top. I mean, basically closed at the top end of the range, if not at the highs of day. Chips across the board continue to be strong. Again, there was no real significant news catalyst per se. It's more just analysts talking about all things AI going into 2024.
Yeah, that short off the 160 level yesterday on NVIDIA was absolute money. Today, it's above that level. We'll see what it does with the whole dollar. Barclays analyst bumping their target yesterday, though, on AMD to $200 from $210 amid demand for artificial intelligence expected to boost sales for the leader in the space. Basically, here's what they're saying. We think the ramp up is driven by multiple customers across hyperscale and enterprise and more second half growth to come, Brendo.
What a huge bar on the daily chart overall, but I mean, these moves are insane. $95 at the bottom of that move for AMD. Here's 160, guys.
160, which is okay, and you want the 180 if you're playing darts. That's the reality. But the 161.91 is the all-time closing high for AMD. There's a wick on the chart. If you look at a weekly chart, it's like 165 or 164.70 something is going to be a local high as well. So I think those are your spots today. If we get to the 161, great. There's actually room to it. If you're going to look for bullish, I think this makes sense. It showed a 156 bottom yesterday. Oh, sorry, in the afternoon yesterday, I should say. So I'd look for that. And if you can hold this, then you don't need to break out the highs to get a nice move. That would give you like 3% worth of burn in there if it can get back to 162. But those feel like sell spots. Like 162, that all-time high, like the first time you get there, I think you have a shot at a reversal if that didn't happen yesterday. So I'm looking at this 156 for AMD. It's trying to hold that red to green story. If it holds green at the open, probably have to look for longs off 160 and scalping into the 162. And I did want to, just very quickly, because you reminded me, Mr. Westermeyer, I'll get to it right now. Thank you very much, Dana Westermeyer, one of our longtime viewers. And he just asked to bet me dinner if the Chiefs win, and you'll have family, so wife and daughter should come this time. Might be in a year or two. You know I'm not saying no to that bet. The Bills are at home. The Bills are going to win. So once again, I look forward to enjoying a dinner on you whenever we're able to do it. But yeah, I mean, don't bet against Josh Allen.
No, the Bills are favored. I feel like they'll win.
They're at home.
Shout out to Sharif. Thank you for the shout out on the AMD short. We had it twice, man. It was a pretty easy trade there, and it happened right in the middle of the day, the best time ever to do it. So right there, 160 short, 160 short again. Sharif absolutely nailed that. It was a very, very easy trade. We'll look to do the same thing again. Sticky Note Nation is alive and strong here again today. And by the way, I showed this goal. Here, we got to show this again because I'm just going to do it. Here we go. So this is my daughter a couple days ago. So here we go. Taking a penalty shot. So this is just, she couldn't skate a year and a half ago. So here we go. Bang, bang.
Right.
There's the goal right there. And as the Maple Leafs once again give up all of their leads, here we go. My daughter could not skate a year and about 4 months ago.
She literally took down her teammate with a high five. That's the power right there.
Boom, boom. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the goalie. The goalie's like, I don't know what just happened.
And my daughter, boom, clothesline. That's right. There's actually another
I don't know
video
why I'm laughing
of that
so
from the bench. But here it is right here. Here's the sticky note for today. Look, man, 157. It's the same level as Neil was talking about. We had a huge day yesterday. We'll look for some chip buys. The market heads lower here. We'll see if we can get a baseline like we did yesterday. Pretty simple trade, man. It was absolutely great. And yeah, we'll look to trade AMD again here today off some key levels, but patience is obviously a virtue that is necessary here, because if the market just continues to fall in, then yeah, this could get broken, right? Yesterday we had that support. You know, like we said, we were short up here at 160. The support was at 156. So 156, 157. Play the strong names, mark it down. This name's strong. AMD's not going anywhere. They report on January 30th. Like, it's crazy that it's already mid-January, if not late January. Like, it's getting insane. I talked about that with Brian yesterday. I was like, what? Like, where did January go? Like, was it not just Christmas? Like,
It moves fast.
The time just goes, and goes.
Not to put a downer on it, but it's actually part of getting older. Your reference of time changes as you get older, but that's, you know, it's just one of those things you hear. Like, it's just a smaller percentage of your life, so it absolutely flies. But this day is flying along as the NASDAQ just bounced off of overnight and yesterday's lows
16.8
temporarily.
All right, Tesla back at a pretty good level here, around 215. 5,000 euro deduction coming off the Model 3, or Model Y, I should say, in Germany. So about 5,400 or so US. For Tesla going over to Germany, I mean, that's not really a significant story per se. There were a few analysts kind of humming and hawing about this as well this morning, I saw as well. So, I mean, I think this area, 200 all the way to 215 even, got to start looking at it.
Yeah, well, Alfred's pumped if it gets down back to 200 because he's looking at buying there. But no, in all seriousness, we saw Chinese price cuts last week. Now we're seeing European price cuts this week. It's not just in Germany. It's in France, Norway, and the Netherlands. Germany getting the biggest haircut on the Model Y long range, Brendo. That gets dropped by 8.1%. Some of the others are 6 and 7. So we'll have to wait and see what margins look like in Europe.
Hot in here.
It's getting hot in here, and the heat is on.
Getting way too hot in
The heat is
here.
on Tesla right now as well. So I'm just going to quickly show. What's hilarious is, like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, Sean was wearing gloves. You turn the heat up 1 degree.
I didn't touch it.
No, but like, you know, I think someone turned the heat up.
did
But
they?
but you can turn the heat up 1 degree and it'll go up like 4. It'll feel like it goes up 5. But look, Tesla, the EVs, we talked about these being short, so they're not. I do vastly, like recently, like looking for shorts in things like yesterday, Fisker off of the dollar level, and Nikola flat bottom breaking, and Rivian could break 17 like any time, and like they've even got as low as 1702, and it's at 1708. That could literally break any moment. But Tesla, I'm going to show you guys this trend line for Tesla. I've said it looks like we're headed to 170 because there's lower low, there's another lower low. But if you continue to zoom this chart out, now it's not split adjusted, so it does something funky here. But since the last split, if you go all the way back, the resistance from the last split ends up lining up with these recent bottoms that we have. It bisects the chart and then gives you those support levels. So from technically, you look at this 170 and it makes a lot of sense that if we would retest there, you'd get some kind of a bounce because that's what the chart's telling you. Until then, it's got to show me strength. There's another lower high underneath the previous close. So I just think you're looking for a pop to short. Previous close is sitting here at 220. You've got the 224, 25 area as well, upside. I think those things are in play. I think you're a little stretched for a 200 break today. When you're trading at 215, I'm not thinking about a 200 breakdown. If it drops $15, there's almost no way I'm punching the bottom unless it's a scalp trade. So I got to think short the pops here. But I'll go over to the other name that we were trading yesterday that I think could be setting up. It was a flat bottom break on Nikola. It broke the 70 level. It then had a big level on the daily, breaking the 65-cent level. I think there's room to about 50 cents here. So if it gets back and pops into 65 where the flat bottom break happened, I would look to short that again. Fisker at $1, very similar setup. As long as it holds underneath $1, I want to short the dollar level on FSR. There's just so many of these that have been trending to the downside. It's like, how do you not look for opportunities to take advantage of them? So Nikola, Fisker, at this point, they're kind of all the same thing. Like, show me the Green Day in the last couple of weeks. It's not happening. Till it does, short till it's not.
Trying to get everything all set up here because Tesla's the number 2 name today on the stick. You know, it's making its return right there. So, look, I wrote down there, pretty simple. You can go find it at Trader TV Sean there on Twitter. Like that 212 yesterday, for some reason it held. Didn't need to, but did. So I'm going to play off that level again. It's a pretty simple trade, man. If it comes back into 212, we go long, and then we'll hold out for 210 break. You don't see this move go from 212 to 224 and not willing to hold this $2. So that's my plan of action. You can see Tesla's starting to get back up to the upside right there. We just held off 213.50 because this move is pretty aggressive and it just went through. We're going to wait for the imbalances to come out at 925, but maybe it's this 213 that holds. But remember, we say this all the time, every day. This seems to happen. Let me just double check the day before. There it is. So it's not even like that big of a move the day before. The day before we went from 221 down to 219.50 or so, and then ripped up $5 or $6, right? The same move happened yesterday where you went down the same percentage all the way back up to the upside. So whether or not we like Tesla or not, it tends to be making these moves down where it gets hit, and then the market opens up, we get that bottom, and then it just gets bought right back up. So there are a lot of traders out there that are trying to get long Tesla at great prices. Now, whether or not it's going to matter, I think those pricing cuts are part of the reason why all these other names are getting crushed right now. If you want an EV, now Tesla just became more attractive to you if it wasn't already. So Germany, you could just save 5,000 euros there just because. You know, why would you go ahead and buy a Polestar now for the same price as you can? I think this was a Model Y or whatever, but end of the day, Tesla right now is squashing competition by doing this. They're going to hurt their stock price temporarily, and we'll just see what happens on their report, which is actually coming up. I think it's the 24th. Tesla right there. Yes, sir. Wow, good memory by this kid. In a week, Tesla reports. So you don't have to get that excited about it right now, but in a week, you're going to see the numbers. And we know they're selling a lot of cars. Let's see how this affects margins. But right now, Tesla, the one to own in the EV space if you're going to own anything.
Only one.
The office one. All right, let's go on to Meta. A couple of positive analyst notes this morning. I was also reading through this. 9 to 5 Mac reporting. 5% uptick in downloads for WhatsApp versus anything else on the messaging side. So the popularity of WhatsApp continuing to grow in the US. Doesn't get much better than that on a daily time frame for Meta.
Yeah, I begrudgingly use WhatsApp because that's where the family chats. But a couple of, like you mentioned, Brendo, a couple of comments today on Meta. Wells Fargo, the first here with the overweight coverage and a price target of 438. Piper Sandler also chiming in with overweight as well and a price target of 415. That's an upgrade from the 355 they had before.
I was also just on the daily active user side of things for WhatsApp, 9% to the upside and 5% on the downloads, guys.
Actually, I like what my family's West Indian. That's where my parents were born, and literally everybody in the West Indies uses WhatsApp. Like it's the communication thing. So I actually prefer it to Hangouts. I mean, I'm an Android person, but I really prefer it as a chat. But that doesn't really matter. We're here to talk about price levels and in trading action. I think Meta has two potential bottoms here today. One of them. I guess they're both kind of obvious. At least I think that 363 in here, that looks kind of obvious. And then had this drawn at 358, this was the close back on the 8th. And then right on the 9th, you then consolidated off of that level, and then you broke out from it on the 10th. That's when you made that charge into high. So it's about the 358. This down here, you probably have to give it some room. When looking for a dip buy, if it takes that level, you're having a rough day, and you're just looking for one of those late morning consolidation bottoms off the key price area. So it could easily drop down like a buck from that 58 area and still be pretty valid. But you got to be very patient when you're looking for the dip buy. I don't really have any short ideas for Meta. Save those for some of the EV names to be sure. But if we do see that 358. I think that looks like a go zone for me on Meta.
And finally, a W with me selling some of my shares because you guys know we sold. And I said this yesterday. Remember, I posted this last night about SOX and I think it's Amex. No, it's NASDAQ. Okay. And how Michael Burry took this short $1 billion or whatever it was, shorting the chip names here. And he used the ETF. If it ever goes. There it is, nice move down. I mean, it was played with options, so I posted that yesterday. People were like, we don't really know if he's out or what the story is, but yeah, SOX continues.
I thought he covered for a loss, didn't he?
Probably. We'll have to look that up. But anyways,
I thought he did.
But I just remember when he shorted that, a lot of traders could be wrong on that. And the reason why I bring that up is because NVIDIA, I sold some at 492 or 494. And look where NVIDIA is, man. This name just continues to climb higher. So I was wrong too, selling some in this area. And it's just been straight up to the upside. The reason why this is interesting is because I just mentioned it there. And I was actually able to sell Snapchat as well, but that was up north of 17. So that turns out to be right. NVIDIA turns out to be wrong. And I do like Brendan's idea of never selling anything again. Snapchat, a little bit of a different beast, but today they get an upgrade. So I like Snapchat. You're down here, you're trying to break below 15 bucks. Feel like it's going to hold this level. I have it written down here on the sticky note as a long near 15.25. I'll show you where that was yesterday. If you come over here quickly, you can see that's 15.40. So if we can break back into here, just want to see if we can support 15.25. Obviously, these are dark pools, so it's not that big of a deal, but you can start the buying. I thought maybe we would be down. Snapchat's really held the bid. The market's come back a little bit. So I thought maybe we would open up in and around here, then a dip down gets us that bid. But right now, you can probably start buying this name in and around 15.50. And then unfortunately, I still own some shares, so it's not like I want this thing to go down. I don't. But if you lose 15 there, that's going to be a concern. So we'll buy Snapchat. It's up today. The market's down. I like the relative strength. Nice upgrade from Piper. Let's see if that can work out. I still think that Snapchat gets bought out at some point.
All right, let's talk about China here. As we mentioned, to start things off, if you're with us at 8:30, weakness across the board. For ADRs, it was GDP came out overnight in China. If you're with us yesterday afternoon, we were discussing that with Frank. It was 0.1% of a miss. So yes, it was downside, but not a huge downside. Still 5+% growth coming out of China, which for them is where they expect to be, but still a little bit on the weak side for growth for China.
Yeah, Brendo, the street was looking for 5.3. They got 5.2. Compare that to 2022 year over year on the quarter when it was at 3%. So it was a bump up from that. Look, one of the analysts here that covers China says the following. Macro data from the 2023 Chinese economy shows that it's going through a transition to a new growth model. Essentially what he's saying here is that it's going to become less reliant on real estate as that sector really tanks, and they're going to become more reliant again on services and manufacturing. How long that transition will take is kind of we'll have to wait and see.
E-commerce names I noted were a little bit worse off across the board than some of the EV names. Well, I guess not at this point, 2.7%, but still lots of gaps to the downside here if you zoom out for Chinese ADRs.
Oh my goodness, there's so many of these stocks that have broken bottoms. NEO yesterday broke the $7 level and almost touched $6 in the pre-market here today. I'll start with that because there's a lot of questions about, usually about NEO. It's already done a couple of million shares, which makes it a good trading vehicle. So there is your flat bottom break at 7 even. It was just absolutely nasty. You're able to get 97s on that pull down. It ends up, it closed at 55, ends up getting down to 645. Now, if I see $6 today and it's got a few million shares, I'd probably look for a scalp trade just given how much it's down, but it didn't go SSR. It never got to the 10% down. So it's not one of those automatic, I'm looking for a long at 6 because it's an SSR short sell restricted type bounce play. But if I see a big enough bid, I would take a shot, like 1s and 2s, something like that, bouncing off 6 even. If it gets back to this level, 660 to 670, looking short, like the bottom end of the morning range and the consolidation in the afternoon, that's what I look for. But when you talked about the sort of those internet names in China, like you see Alibaba down 3%, Pinduoduo is down 4%, and it's a different looking chart from all the rest. That's why we keep pointing it out. But if it can't hold on to 136 today, that's set up for a flat bottom break. Super strong stock. It's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and a lot of the growth has been won by them. But if this breaks to the 136 level, I mean, it's a pretty decent sized gap fill if it even attempts it. So this is the one. I haven't looked at this one in a while because I've been waiting for it to at least maybe show some real strength above the 150, or in this particular case, fade it. If it breaks 136, fair enough. I drew this line in the afternoon yesterday at 142, looking for a break there. Obviously, you can see that I can draw that line at the end of the day thinking, hey, this could be a good breakdown for tomorrow. We gap $6 under it. If we were to rally $6, I'd short 142 on the way back up just because I was looking for that short potentially when I sat down today. So looking for a 136 break. If it does rally, I'd be offering in front of 142.
All right, so basically yesterday here we had Alibaba right there as a 71. This is yesterday's sticky note, right? So there's Alibaba. We had the short yesterday. Obviously, it's getting killed today. So if you're short yesterday and you could hold overnight, congratulations. We were short yesterday, and it was another good trade there. We shorted the pops yesterday on Alibaba into $70, never got to 71. So we're gonna do the same thing here again today. It's back on the watch list on the sticky note for me. I put down we wanna get short 70. Obviously, it's not going to get up that high, so we're just going to watch out for 70 as a possible top. If we do get squeezed out of this trade, I'm hoping that we rally here off the open. We just got the imbalances for the NASDAQ, but let's just see if there's anything here for BABA. No, there isn't. It looks like a pretty mixed board, sells and buys all over the place. I just saw Apple on here somewhere, but now it's gone. Amazon isn't. Oh, there's Apple. So, whoops, it's going back and forth. But anyways, Amazon continues to be a sell there as this name getting pushed a little bit lower through 150 possibly there today as... Now I can't even move. There you go. Now I can't move this over. But yeah, not much on here. GoEV, there's Funware. We talked about going long at 15. That seems to be pretty good right now. XPEV continues to be a sell, the news event, obviously on China. But yeah, no Alibaba. So I continue to look short on BABA and, Boeing, BA, and BABA. BA, two symbols you don't want to have in your portfolio.
Well, Boeing's bouncing a little bit. I don't know. Boeing's up a couple bucks. It's actually up 1%, believe it or not. Has to go up eventually.
Fantastic.
Yeah, nothing good for Boeing today. No. Rivian, kind of looking the same as far as the daily chart is the same, coming into big time support here, 17. It's been nothing but straight southbound though for 2 straight weeks here. Deutsche Bank jumping on the back of that move, downgrading the stock to hold from buy with a $19 price target today.
Yeah, EVs continue to get crushed here, Brendo. Like you mentioned, Deutsche Bank commenting on that. Wells Fargo chiming in as well with a coverage of equal weight and a price target of 18. So it's not much of a move. Their past price target was 19, so just a $1 drop there, while Deutsche Bank lowered theirs by 10 from 29 to 19. Tough for EVs.
For EVs. Understatement. I know it seems like we're bagging on the EVs, but every single one of these charts looks pretty much exactly the same, where you've had umpteen days to the short side with very few bounces, few and far between. Rivian is probably going to break 17 at the open because there's 2 minutes to the open and it's at 02. So suffice to say, I think it breaks 17 right away. If it can't, look, if it does an immediate rally, I never want to get completely trapped at the bottom. You never want to lose everything on a single trade, risk your whole day. You try to make things reasonable. The thing about trading you have to keep in mind is, like, for every, like, what's your best trade? Like, say, like Nvidia, that 500 break the other day, right? Whatever you made on that trade, regardless, I don't care what it is, you don't want to have a one bad trade cut into more than, to me, more than like half of that. Because if that's the case, it's going to be hard to be successful in trading. So when I look at a breakdown or a breakout trade today, I'm still, if I lose on it and I lose more than a third of what I made on the Nvidia, that 500 break, which was 500 to 510 for me, then I've done wrong. And so it's the same thing here at 17. I will take the shot at it. If I'm giving it to a quarters, I probably have to go a little bit less at the open. If you're giving it to tens, you can kind of go a little bit more all in on that trade. But I am going to have that 17 breakdown. There's a couple of things that could hit almost right away. To the short side for breaks. That's why you don't want to get trapped. There's that. There's Pinduo Duo at the 136. That could come in very, very quickly here as we have less than 1 minute to the open. I like dip buys on some, well, I mean, not some chimp names. It's going to be AMD in particular if it gets down in there to the afternoon support in yesterday's trade. And for anybody that is still, I think Funware probably does good volume today. There's no question about it. The early breakout, I mean, for me, the pre-market level where it hit like 13 and a half, if we come to like just quickly to the chart, hit 13 and a half, I think that's the level that I would go for the longs in Funware. It's going to do a lot of volume today. There could be some scalp trades, could be some bounce trades as well. So I'd keep this one on the radar. I mean, obviously it's down 61%, so I don't have to tell you that it's SSR as well. Which, if it's SSR, I usually look for those types of bounce longs. It is hump day. Let's get on over to the bell. Adara in less than 10 seconds. Now 5, 4, 3. Rivian's going to break right away. 2, 1, and ring it. Or maybe not right away.
All right, we're watching everything right now. We're watching AMD, we're watching some Tesla, we're watching some Alibaba as well. Welcome to the show. Hit the like and the subscribe button as we're going to have some, hopefully some pretty wild trading here for you very, very soon. That bottom's 213.50 here on Tesla. It's at 214.50, so we're going to watch out for that possible bottom area right there. And then we're just going to keep watching our sticky note for key levels, man. AMD down to 157, Tesla down into 212.
There's an iceberg at 99 on Rivian. They
right.
just broke. Oh my goodness, they just broke it. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, doesn't matter. There was an iceberg at 99. You had an opportunity, if it broke, to like hit it and then immediately scalp like 7 or 8 cents. I was already bidding 91, so the Rivian 99 short came in there. Pinduo Duo very quickly it literally bounced off 136 even Pinduo Duo.
Nice.
Like that's insane. That's crazy. So that break is still valid. I would have missed it if it hadn't bounced there because I didn't have my order in. So I have to adjust my order. Some of our orders can't trade until the market opens.
Yeah, AMD's coming down a little bit as well. We took the short on Rivian just right now. I tried to get 98s there. It didn't work out for me, but here goes Rivian. Nice move to the downside right there. Tesla also swooping down, but then it just stopped. It stopped at that pre-market level. So like I said, man, investments in Rivian right now are getting to be juicy down near that 15 level if and when that ever hits. But let's just put a bid right now and take that out. So that was a good little out there at 72. We're only out of a quarter of it, and we'll wait to see what happens now. New position alert. Snapchat, let's see what happens now. I mean, now we're in it, so we'll wait for it to see what happens. So Snapchat does pull back in. We get that 35 fill. Remember we said that we were looking for this fill. We were actually going to wait at 25 is what we wrote down on here. But because the market didn't fall for us, we took a 35 fill. So we'll wait to see where Snapchat goes. I'm still looking for it to hold on to this until we break 15. So let's just do the plan of action that we had, break through 15. So. AMD as well.
It is the gates of hell. I mean, right away, that 17 break, you're now already trading at 1660s. I want to get one out in front of 15.5, but this market's starting to really head into the downside. You know, the only thing that we're looking to dip by, okay, that's not the only thing. Meta could go down far enough that I'd want to dip by that. But here comes AMD, just tagged 156.8, so it's under 57. I like the 56 buy. Okay, let's be patient. Is it holding? It just held 57 there, so we'll get the first in off of this local buy. I was looking for a bottom. It just put one in at 156.5. Let's see if it can hold on. I don't like much for dip buys, but the chip showed you some serious strength. Oh, the other one was Disney, but I'm just trying to get some Nikola on the next available pop. I knew I wanted that name short and missed it at the open. These things didn't wait around to break lows.
We got 157.11 and we got out 25s there. So let's wait to see what happens here on AMD as it's starting to go. Snapchat's starting to go. We're going to go 3 for 3 right now. So let's go. It's same. I said this yesterday to Brankos or to Wayne. I was like, or maybe it was somebody else. I was like, different shit, same shovel. You know, like every day, man, we're following the rules. We're trying to make sure that we can, you know, put on some decent trades. So right now, Snapchat 12.35. We just took a piece out right there at 41. We'll see if we can go a little bit higher than that. Snapchat. And then honestly, we're just going to have to wait for AMD because we got a piece out there and it just went right back up to 35s there and stop. Sorry, 25s and stop. So let's see if AMD can hold it out. If it can't, we are out of this on a break of 156. So we're going to have to watch out for this. But we are long and strong right now on AMD. And then we got a great fill down there as well at 62 on Rivian. So far, so good. What's up, A?
IMO running right off the open here after a nice pre-market movement, still up about 250%. Airspan is the name of the company. They announced a partnership with GCT Semiconductor to develop an RF module. So MIMO, guys.
Mimo.
We need to go short.
Mimo?
Short. No, everything.
Yeah, I just got, look, for me and AMD, I always take that long into the local bottom. So the local bottom broke. I take the long at 57 when it held. It bounced one more time off the 50s. I went for the long in there. It needs to show me a little bit more green before we hang on to that. Very, very quickly, there's a lot of things that are running to the downside, but Disney broke out to the upside and is continuing to go here. So we like the dip buy there. It did not get into 92 or 91.6. It actually broke out the top at 93. I'll go for the dip buy at 93. Break out the previous top. Support turning into resistance and all that good stuff we're going to look for. So Pinduo Duo does not break 136. So the next level to come into play is the 142. I was looking for a breakdown to the low. It does not break the low. Do not have to trade it. NEO is pennies away from $6. So the $6 level is very likely to come into play here today on NIO. Down 6%. It's 10 cents away, I think, from giving us that low.
We're doing it again. Honestly, let's just go, man. Look at AMD go. Let's go. Let's go, AMD, right now. There it is. It's almost, we're going to get this, man. We just bought 156.50s down there. So there it is. It's $1 on our last reload, but because we are stuck a little bit here, we got to wait. So look at that, man. Boom, boom. AMD, here we go. The number one name here today for me. Rivian as well. Great outs for Rivian. The only thing is right now, we got to... Where's Thanos? We need to get this Snapchat going a little bit for us. There goes AMD, baby. There it is. It's $1 from our reload. So let's go on this name back up to the upside. We could take another piece out, but hey, man, this name is so damn strong. But it is having a little bit of a problem at the 50 level, so we will, boom, take a piece out right there. 70 cents now in the money as there it goes. One more time. We got that one through on you for AMD. Nice move to the upside right there. We'll wait for Snapchat. We said what we're going to do for this one. I do have a bid down here at 10s. I don't, you know, the market is really getting clocked here, so we got to be really, really careful with all of this for sure. There goes Rivian, man.
Rivian right back to 17.
Yeah, exactly. Rivian right back to 17. So you know what your boy did right there was short some more of this.
I just got 94. It just gave 94s. You probably got 95s, I thought, but 94s.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the high was 97. I swear it was like 95. But that 97 came into play. It was right away at the open. It flushed, but you're now seeing the bids come right back into it. I have a bid to dip by Disney, but if we can't hold on to the opening high here, this was 17.12. If you get through that, to me, you're breaking out on Rivian, and you got to be really careful about wipeout bottoms and then breaking back out. You never want to turn a good trade into a bad one. I want to get to Funware because it's done already like 60 mil volume, and it's already at 19 cents. I'm going to pay for locates. I think eventually this thing is going to turn
Guys.
around. 25 is the level I'm looking for.
Holy Wow, Rivian. Wow, we got 05s on a short there for Rivian. Now we are just absolutely printing. We're almost up more now today than we were yesterday. Checks watch, Patrick. It's 9:37. Here we go. It's 20 cents in the money on Rivian on big shares, like X amounts, X times. AMD with a nice move back up, trying to get to that dollar club. We're long AMD. Here it is. Yeah, there's a real dollar club right there for that one. And Rivian is absolutely tanking for your boy right now. Wow, what a day. Oh my God. And you know why? Look what we're trading today. AMD, Snapchat, Rivian. Wow, that was a huge move. We're just starting to, honestly, I'm over the moon on that move. We're trying to get something out right now on Rivian. We put big time orders right there to get short. Whew, I didn't even realize we got filled there. I was watching AMD because there goes AMD again, back up to the upside. We're waiting at 158 clean. That's where VWAP is. Let's see if we can touch that one. But that's the banger right there, guys. Like I could not. Props, first of all. I know Neil had the short as well. Props to anybody there on Rivian. That was such a great trade. I'm so glad, guys, we were looking at this stock. It's Rivian, and we just moked it. We are now up more today than yesterday, and we had some banger trades. Congratulations. And look what AMD is doing as well. It is a hot dog cannon kind of day, guys. We'll give you 3 trades, and you don't need to trade anymore. So that's it, man. Boom. Nice move to the upside. Let's see what happens with Rivian. You can if you want to, but honestly, guys, like, that was one of the greatest 8 minutes to start. And remember I told you guys just a little while ago, we were going to be on one this year. Yeah, so far so good to the start of this one, as there it is right there for that. We just need Snapchat to go.
So, like, Rivian is absolutely fantastic. There's no question. The only thing I'm upset about for that Gates of Hell was not getting the other EV names as well off the open, which is a bit tricky. Phunware is now flying. I just paid for locates, which were so cheap. I'm surprised they were as cheap as they were, essentially fractions of a penny. But 22.7, 227 and 24. Those are the levels I'm looking for a fade. I understand it's squeezing to the upside and it's SSR, but I don't think it goes down. I don't think it goes up forever. Obviously, there is some hype here, but I'm looking for the first available pullback there. Rivian, the only thing about this is it's making a higher low. So it got the reload. There you see it fail back underneath 17. If it can hold 17, 12, I think the short's still valid. But that is a strong, strong rebound that stock is seeing. Google is weak. A lot of things are weak right now. But one that is, it's at the high of the day and breaking out. I wasn't joking around. Where Boeing was making a bounce. Boeing is still going back into the upside off the $200 level. If this gets anywhere near 212 and 218, those are the 2 levels I would look for fades. Spirit sometimes is a little bit better, though, when you're looking for shorts, if you're looking at SPR anyways.
Oh, man. Wow is right, Professor. AMD now $1.80, Professor. Right now in the money. Wow, for this one. Rivian, only a dime piece, but that damage was done.
You should just see this.
Down there to the downside.
I hope this was the bottom of that.
And again,
man, that cost a lot.
I was just going to post this up. I'll
but
just
you know
start
what?
this and just have a quick look. I'll save it and post it up in a minute. Like, basically, AMD 157
You got to give me some money, man.
That is now in the money. Like, here's AMD right here. We just got out at 158.50. So if you just followed this, which I did, thankfully, I actually got long better than that. Right now you're $1.50 in. Snapchat, there's the long at 525. That's kind of it did go down there. That's not my best fill, but if you're waiting for it, you got it. Rivian, the short. We already talked about how cash money that was. Thank you so much for participating in.
Come on, man. You give my $2 back.
We just got another piece out right there at 158 again. I want to be short the market for sure. We're well under. I'm a little disappointed in what Rivian's trying to do right now.
Apple broke 171.
As it comes all the way 180. Apple broke
181.
Good for this
it's on the way to
account,
180 right
Okay, so watch out for, as Neil just mentioned there, watch out for that break. I am not going to reload Rivian here, but it was a doozy.
Look at that action.
Some of these Chinese ADRs making a bit of a recovery to the upside after gapping down, including XPeng, and now still down 6%, but making nice strong recovery off volume off the open. Alibaba doing the same thing here, now down only 1.5% on the day. So keep an eye out for these Chinese ADRs.
Was so close to $6. It felt like it was gonna happen. It got to 12s. That was a little bit too far away. Again, like everything has to come down to risk to reward, right? Like that's what it always breaks down to. So I'm not really looking for the long 12 on NIO. I just think that's a little bit far away from a gimmicky style trade. We do have Disney. The market did pull back in. That was something we liked to try to hold it. Got 93s. If it can hold on to what was the break at the right at the end of the day in the aftermarket, 92.8, that's one level. And then the 92 level, we got to be patient. Like if it doesn't hold here, I got to wait till it gets down into that 92. Funware, I was not quite fast enough with the locates there. Is what it is. I thought it had a chance to get a little bit higher. It said 22.7. It went to 22 pretty much exactly and is already starting to pull back. So the fun is already gone for Funware.
Oh man, no Funware.
Well, it's still, okay, technically speaking, it's down 55%, but it's still up significantly from the pre-market bottom.
Okay. That sounds like fun. Where? Okay, so got a little chuckle there from the prof. It's always good when you make the teacher laugh, as long as you're not getting detention all the time. All right, so Snapchat, we did get that 28, 29 fill there, so that's a little bit of a problem right now for me on that. So we're gonna have to wait to see what's happening right now with, of course, our trade on Snapchat. Hopefully it will retrace back up to the upside. I'm losing a little bit of steam here because it's AMD that just broke down, and I'd like to, first of all, on AMD, we only have about 15% left of this trade, so it's not bothering me that much. But here it comes back in. We do have some better bids. Actually, we don't. We actually got filled on those bids the first time. So let's put a bid in here and just take this. We are going to watch out for 156, right? That's going to be the breaker spot for us. If it does break below that, just making sure that, yes, we do have a cancel bid on that. Yeah, Roma's moving around here, halted, and up 17% was Roma. So we can watch out for that one. But here we go, man. It's oops, am I even on AMD? So it's going to break through 155. We said we wanted to get short, which is why we emptied the clip when it ripped like that. So just be very, very careful here. It's not looking like this is going to last or end very nicely here, breaking through 155. So we're gonna, 156. So we're gonna have to watch out for that. My stop order's in there, and yeah, we'll give back something here as it looks like it does want to break lower. But I mean, the stock of the day for me, without a question. And
we had to give $4 back to the market. I don't want to get trapped.
So that
we
really
just gotta.
Over the top.
It's downloaded 4280.
Right there. There it goes. So we get out at O's basically on that break for AMD.
Yeah, I just got out of Disney, first dip buy. I mean, the shorts are clearly, you can look at the futures chart.
Yeah,
the shorts are clearly winning at this point. It doesn't mean that they can't bounce somewhere, but the first bounce zone not going to work on Disney. I am now into Nikola. It's not exactly the entry that we're looking for right away, but beggars can't be choosers. We got the first pop we could get.
No.
And now you're starting to hold the 156. Generally speaking, the way I like to look for a bounce play is I have the first level, I'll give it multiple shots in and try to have tight stops. And when it comes to a breakout, try to kind of treat it the same way. If I'm joining the trend, I like to be a little bit more, I like to be patient, but I think you can be more aggressive when you're joining the trend. When you're going against the grain, in this particular case, I look for a wipeout bottom, I look for a hole back above, and then I look for a tight stop, so that one trade can never be like the be-all, end-all. I just got some Nikola. We talked about Funware, but it hasn't been fun for me because I missed my shorting opportunity in Funware. So I'm long second chance here in AMD. I'm looking for a push into VWAP, but I don't think we're going to get it. And starting to think about some chip names to the south side. If we fail this level on AMD, you got to start thinking about like how far could we get down. If you see 150 or something along those lines, I think NVIDIA 550 is suddenly going to be in play today. NVIDIA 540 would be the, I don't want to call it the Alamo or anything, but I have two lines on my chart for NVIDIA. One of them's 545 and the other one's 540. So if we do continue to fall in here, NVIDIA's got some dip buy zones as well. I only went over AMD because those are the ones that were going to come first. So this 156 is my second shot. As mentioned, Nikola, we had to short the pop back in instead of the breakdown because I did not get filled when the stock fell right away at the open. So we're short the pop here. We'll see if it can hold. Short 62 on Nikola.
Okay, so we just shorted right now. New position alert. So let's do this. We're into Micron right now, off of a short. So we'll short it and see what happens here. We had Brian Shannon on. He was actually talking about maybe relative strength here in Micron. So we are going to have to watch out for it from yesterday, but we'll wait. We'll wait on that one. So we just went short. Now we're short 36. We shorted the 40 break. It was just right. Actually, I guess we should have waited. That was 31 break. I don't know why we shorted the 40 break there, but we did. So we're going to give this one, and then now it's coming back in. So we're going to give this one up into. Actually, I guess I got to sort of look at my Snapchat trade to see what's happening on there as well. But sorry, just to talk about what I was talking about there for a second. I was going to give this one to basically 50. Like I guess that's 60s there, but I didn't want to give it that high. Maybe 50. Okay, we just got a bid. Maybe that was a good trade right there. We're just waiting. I got nervous there when it went back up. We just put a 31 bid out right there again. But again, you know, it has to be. You guys don't see our share sizes and stuff like that, but like I'm hitting this with more shares. So for me, it's like I have to basically trade it and be a little bit aggressive on some of these outs because you guys, again. You know, whether or not you have a couple hundred shares, a couple thousand shares, tens shares. It's the strategy that you're really working on, and then hopefully from that builds higher share sizes, right? But I still have that evil problem of looking at my P&L all the time. And, you know, when I see these kind of things start to happen, your boy gets a little excited and starts to cash out. So that's what I'm doing right there. And then now that I see my net blasting as well, we do have to get some more out of Rivian. So that's a banger right there for Rivian. And I'm staying away from AMD. I know when I'm on tilt, so I'm going to stay away from that one right now. I still have 155 as a possible bottom, so we're going to wait for that. But I just go over and pick on Rivian. Rivian we already picked on. Micron right now against that 83.55-ish area. If it breaks that, I'm going to get out.
So this time, I am into Funware, but it's a little bit different from the short that I was looking for when I paid for the locates. There was a refreshing order at 20 cents. So it just did this wick in here. So bounce, it wicked to the 20-cent level for a lower high, and then immediately someone popped on the offer and held it. They got filled for a boatload of shares. I couldn't actually count the number. It was a lot. It was hundreds and hundreds of thousands, obviously. And then they refreshed the level once it got taken out. So I am short off of that. If it breaks here, I'm not holding it to 22. That's a short off this exact 20-cent level that we're going to take advantage of. AMD has a local bottom here just underneath 156. I'm giving it to the 3/4. It's pretty much that simple. If it holds a 3/4, great. Want to risk about 50 pennies on that one, and that's it. As a matter of fact, it just came out. So AMD, I'll take 2 shots at it. I always want to keep things in the pocket. Remember I commented about the whole reference it to like what's a good trade? For me right now, 20% of say the break that we had on NVIDIA, 20% of that given back on something like an AMD. So usually give myself room for 3 shots of something like this. But that's 2 at the same level, and it's failing that level. If it can't get back above 156, I don't want this thing. Because I don't think there's much until you get back to that 151. And I'm not talking about the good from Bacardi. I'm talking about the breakout price from yesterday. That's a lot of room. So scalp trade on Funware. Remember, I said this is a ridiculously tight stop. Short 19.8 with a stop at just above 20 cents. So when it goes to 19, then I'm taking some out. Now, the thing about this, it was just a refreshing order. It wasn't an iceberg. It was just a big seller on Funware at 20. And if you're not following along, they dropped an offering on everybody last night.
Hopefully you're following along over here, guys. Micron, we're just covering some of this, man. This is a big trade for sure. Snapchat still holding out, Rivian doing its own little dance, and I am so proud of myself on AMD. You have no idea. So the fact that we stayed away from that, that's a big change for me. So I'm happy with it. All right, we're still gonna wait for 155 though. I'm gonna touch that stove when it gets hot down there. All right. In nice movement land here as the ES cruising a little bit better, down 0.81 versus 0.42. And part of the reason for that, of course, is the fact that we have the banks starting to finally run a little bit here. JP Morgan, we just talked about it. I mean, all we have to do is really talk about, oh, by the way, Rivian just ripped up there. So we just got stopped out of what we had left. Man, we just got look at that. We just got multiple fills down there. And then we tried to short 05 and out 10 right there again. So Rivian will fail on that last bit, but Rivian is by far the number one stock for me today, like X amounts upside right there. All right, so here we go. Micron, let's take a little bit more profit here as it does look like AMD is bouncing a little bit. Micron, we will take, there it is, we will take some profit there on Micron as it's dropping back in, man. We definitely picked on this, and we picked on it good right there. Let's go. Wow, that's another good one, man. I hope you guys are on that, that's for sure. Micron making that, wow, okay. Micron is actually almost it is my number one stock. There goes Micron, number one stock now for me. Micron. Not even something that was on the list, but we definitely watched it, and there it goes, man, falling into the depths of hell. And it can get a lot lower than that. Look at AMD right now. Wow, I should be down a lot on this. Thankfully, we stepped away from it. Now we're gonna wait for that 155. It looks like it's trying to bounce a little bit here off of 155. We just got twice touched in. I was waiting for like 155 flat. So maybe we'll put that up into the 10s, and then we still would not have been out or in, but we'll put that there and we'll see what happens now as we'll put a bid at 155.11 as there it goes back up to the upside with that little move higher. Let's just start to punch out some more Micron. Why? Because we can. It's a big winner today. It's Micron.
This market is red, to say the least. I mean, the shorts are definitely printed, but I'm now out of Rivian. It was great right off the open. I mean, it literally broke 17 right away. That's why we tried to prepare you guys for it. But 17.13 was this local high, 17.12. I got one last reload in front of it. It broke 17 one final time for a scalp trade, and then it broke out the top. So Rivian is now in recovery mode. And when a stock is in recovery mode, I think you got to be real patient with it. I'm not saying it goes to $18, but I think you got to be really, really patient. Someone just said, please talk about Lucid. EV names have been under pressure, but Lucid did exactly the same thing, just not as big of a move. It dropped at the open, and now it's trying to catch a bit of a bid here. So, I mean, all I see is EV name that's not moving as much as some of the ones that I'm looking at. So it's no trade for me on Lucid. I will tell you that Apple, it got pretty darn. I missed the bid on Apple by about 10 cents there off that 180 level. It might retest. The market's weak enough that you could retest again, but I'll have to back that order away. There's no point having that order still in there. The low was 180. I see a low of 180.30. I don't know why my level 2 is saying 09, but 180.30 looks like the bottom. I was at 22s. Let's go to Adara.
Just a note here on Google, coming out here saying they're going to be cutting some jobs and ad sales. This comes after some job cuts that were announced last week in Google. So just keep an eye on this. Not super reacting to this news right now, but just keep an eye on those job cuts from Google, guys.
Generally speaking, that would be a good thing, I would think. So
that's what you think, but
by the way, I can't. I'm glad that we've upped our share sizes. We've talked about that over and over again. Like as strategies start to fill out, you up your share sizes. So that's been an absolute dream of a move recently for me. So we're just going to continue to watch it and hopefully be able to have success like you guys are having as well. And again, thank you so much for watching Neil and I trade. You guys can see all of our positions at the bottom. You know, if you have any questions about them, please ask, and we will definitely help you out with why we're in. And I mean, that's the whole, bless you, that's the whole idea behind what we're doing here, right? Is trying to explain. I mean, that's why we give the sticky note, the watch list, et cetera, et cetera. Tesla's still holding out pretty nicely right there again. Wow, Micron is still, it's trying to break that 83.10. It's too bad because right there again, AMD, you know what, just went down to 21s. We're at 11s. Or else, again, we would then be at our highest spot, but it doesn't matter. Up and down, you are right. I mean, this is what, you're right, Chef Joe. This is why I'm here, baby. Yesterday, it didn't matter what the market did. You know, it doesn't matter what the market's doing. You're 100% right, Chef Joe. You got to trade the right names at the right time and hit the right levels. That's all that it is. This is why I go on these rants all the time about how much I love this job, is because you can assess your own potential and your own profitability. You know, you are the hand that feeds yourself. This is not where it's like, oh my God, I deserve a raise. Like there's so many people like, oh, you know, I work all this time, I deserve a raise, I do this. Now, you know what? This job, it pays based on how well you trade and how well you know your job and how good you are at your job. You know what I mean? Sports, you get that big season, you can get paid with that big contract. Same thing in trading. You've hit it, you've worked on your practice, you've worked on on your job and you're excelling at it. This is what it's all about. That's why we have Ramin and Fabian, two of the best production people in the business. You know what I'm saying?
Why are you laughing at that, Ramin?
Ramin's just like, who is this idiot? Why is he
She
saying
has
this?
the best.
But this
She has the best laugh ever.
this is just what we're doing, Ramin.
Fabian,
You know, we're not stopping. Does it look like I'm stopping anytime soon?
how are you wearing a toque? It literally is balls hot in here, dude.
Because toques are. Yeah, you know what? I'm getting my toque.
Fabian's not made a joke about hair. Fabian's got the best flow in the market. Well, on this trading floor, he's definitely got the best flow. Alert to Funwear here. Funwear just bounced off of VWAP. Yeah, you can have fun doing that, dude. I like to me, if you're not comfortable trading, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. And when it gets too hot, you'll see. I actually wear a sweater here so I can go on and off. If I'm too hot, I want to cool down, all that kind of stuff. You want your mental to be good. I like to stay focused. But if you're going to be focused today, you got to be focused on the market down 1.5%. Psychologically, 2% has been a bit of a thing recently. Every time we get to 2 in either direction, you've already busted through local bottoms on the NASDAQ. There's a 15-minute chart. So I do think you have a chance to go lower. We've already busted through major support levels. Next one, I had to zoom out so you could find it. 16.65. This would be the zone. I don't know if Apple will be at 180 when we get there. Maybe Meta will be at the level we like when we get there, but you're about 50 points away from getting into this bottom. It came on the 9th, so 16.65 was what I'm looking at. And I was just mentioning here on Funwear, the short 20 just bounced off 18.5. It wicked out. I got filled at 17.5 there, so this can't turn into a losing trade unless I make a mistake. But if it breaks VWAP again, I want to take a fill in between 17.5 and 18. Fun's going to do a ton of volume. I don't think it has as much volume in it as yesterday, though. It feels a little bit lighter today. Could just be because of the offering, but still very much in play today. We talked about some bounce plays. If we get down to that support, Meta 358 is one of them. We're pretty close now. It has to break that 360, but it's getting a little bit close to the Meta bounce zone. I think Apple would come first, though.
All right, we are getting pretty close to Squashville here as AMD is all the way down into 155 inch. Yuck, there it goes. Okay, so see ya. There goes 155. But you know what, man? We are up double what we're down on AMD. Money on Micron. I just posted this on Twitter. We're gonna go to Adair in a second. I just need this thing to load. Here it is on Twitter. Go follow me immediately. Hey, MU, welcome to shorting hell as it gets all the way to the downside. And now it's at 77 right there. So like our net today will be a trophy raiser, but we're gonna get more on this in a couple seconds. Let's go over to Adara at the desk for the number.
Yeah, a couple numbers coming in here today, including business inventories month over month coming in at negative 0.1 versus that's same as the consensus and forecast, so exactly in line and in line with previous. The NAHB housing market index coming in at 44 versus 39 consensus and 38 expected, and the retail inventories ex autos coming in at negative 0.9 versus negative 0.8 forecast, so slightly lower than expected there. SPY not reacting too much to this, still very much down in the day after gapping lower, following a bit of weakness yesterday as well for the S&P 500. Individual stocks on watch today, including SAVE, S-A-V-E, down after a federal judge has blocked JetBlue Airways from acquiring the company. That came in yesterday. We did get 2 downgrades as well today for Spirit Airlines, including Susquehanna and Seaport Global. Coinbase also on watch, trading lower today, but definitely worth noting because of its decision to contest the SEC classification of tokens as securities. So just keep an eye on Coin and as well as all these other crypto stocks today, guys.
I
had some ideas for Coin that just it didn't quite come into the levels, but I suppose it has a chance to get there. Ooh, did they just hold 20 again? Funwear, the order held that 20-cent level again. You know what? I'm not gonna reload. I'm not gonna reload it. I'm gonna go against the grain and not reload that trade at 20. I just think it has too much squeeze potential, so I'm giving it to this local high. If it breaks it, fair enough. it'll be a small hit because we took some profit down there, but it doesn't feel like a reload zone to me. That's a stock that's trending into the upside, so it's a bit of a judgment call there. If it breaks out, there we just get out. Sometimes you like the reload at a price like that, and other times it's just it looks too strong going in. I'll wait for the bigger level, which is what I thought originally would be about here, 22.5, and then 24 as it comes. This is 24. The first dip buy that we had yesterday would be the next zone up, 22.7 to that 24 even level. I'm still in Nikola. If we're gonna get a buy in Meta or Apple, it almost has to come soon. Like we just made that. It was a crazy wick just now on Meta when I had to go over to Funware. But if you were there in front of the 358 as I was over looking at Fun, I'm in position on Fun, there's your dip buy. It just bounced right off it. It's back at that 360 level. So it might have already happened. If it shows a little bit of green off that level, can always go for a consolidation long as well. But these stocks have been heavy. Apple doesn't even seem to want the lows again, which is wild because this market is not all that strong. And Apple bounced off 180, doesn't seem very eager on retesting it. You say 15.7?
You said 16.7
Oh,
there.
yeah, I mean, we're at the lows right now, but Apple, the point to me is that it's not at the low of the day anymore. A stock making higher lows when the market's bouncing off the same low is, to me, one that I want to look for a long. So we've already bounced 180, cannot chase that trade. Got to look at VWAP here to try and hold.
All right, I'm going to try to go the other way here. I mean, honestly, man, we have Mario Lemieux right now on Micron. I mean, we just took 66 cents in the money. We just took a lot of it out down there. Wow. You know this trade, so this is what I'm talking about when we say keep the dream alive. Like don't keep the dream alive if you're like 6 months trading and you haven't really been able to do it yet. I feel like you can cut that dream. But the thing about it is that 80 right here, short 40s, or what am I short? 36s with an out at 55, that's 20 cents. So we just took 60 cents there. Now the market's starting to go back up, and we have, I'm telling you, this is why we're getting out. We do have only a piece left on that as it comes down. We actually have 7% left. Okay, well, meanwhile, while we were talking about that,
Spirit 6.
Spirit, okay, good. Spirit down to $6. I just want to talk about AMD. AMD is making a move back to the upside here. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's a short, but we're not going to hold this forever. Watch out for 156. That's where we're going to be wrong. We could be. I said we weren't going to revenge trade this thing, so we're not. We're not on a lot of shares here. We're not really doing a whole heck of a lot right now with AMD. I'm going to wait for it to get up to that 156, and then if it breaks lower than that, then we're going to, or breaks higher than that, then we're going to get out. But I don't mind shorting this right here, right now on this name. What name is this again? Oh yeah,
Advanced
AMD.
Micro Devices. This could be a short SSR bounce play on Spirit. I said the first even dollar level. Look, the first even dollar level that it was going to hold was going to be 6. Pretty much guaranteed because that's where it bounced yesterday. It's trying to hold on to 6. Yesterday, the trade was off the halts on that bottom, so it was good. And I'll risk about a quarter of that because we get a really tight stop in here. I'm long at 3s. I could have been long at 1s if I was super patient. But if it breaks 6, I'm just going to jump out of it. Spirit Airlines, the deal, obviously kaputs. There's always a chance someone else buys them. There's been nothing on that yet, but I'm just looking for the SSR bounce play here on Spirit.
All right. For some reason, AMD just went all the way down, and we were able to get something on the 70s there. Okay, on some good. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. Right. We actually got 72 there on that move back down. So let's see if it continues to be weak or not right now. Thank you, Mr. Rob, for the reload. So we'll take the hat off now. Wow, that was a little hot wearing the hat. That is for sure. But okay, here we go. Thank you, Rob, for that. Micron. New position is AMD right now. I'll go a little bit more short here, although I was waiting to get more. Oh, wait a minute, we did get more. I just double added there. Okay, didn't mean to do that. We actually got more on the upside there, and I just added to it. So it doesn't matter. It's not. I'm literally waiting for this 156, and if it breaks it, it breaks it. Watch out for 156.15ish, something like that. Give it a little bit of room. This is where. Again, we're going to throw some money back here because it's the short is definitely not working. But with that being said, let's get one more piece out here. If we're lucky enough to get an 84 on Micron, we will do. There it is. We will do that. Take another piece out there at 84. You just saw it spit there on the time and sales. Because again, if these chips start to run back, you know, dangerous game shorting AMD. We had the sort of the gumption of shorting AMD yesterday at 160, and then today we say we'd be patient with it. I don't feel like we were very patient at all. We were very, very good not getting back in after losing on this drop right there. So made the money nicely there, $2+ or a buck 80 or whatever on AMD, and then being patient and not chasing this. But now we're the other way around. Now we're short strong names. I saw someone saying about, I mean, you were on Funware, but DWAC.
Well, I'm looking at Funware because I thought that'd be the better trade. By the way, just quickly on Spirit Airlines, it bounced. It tried to break 610.
That's hot.
And then just could not break the 610 level. So I got a piece out there. Long at 03, my stop is at evens. I think there's enough liquidity. I don't think there's going to be a ridiculous amount of slippage on the stock. So you're probably risking about 5 cents. So when it gets to 9s, that is actually 1-to-1. So taking some out in front of 10, which wasn't my original intention, I ended up doing. If it breaks 10, I got a 12 order and an 18 order because I look at this bottom in the pre-market and want to get some out in front of it. So we'll ring the register on this bounce play just because it's, and again, I'm not saying this is going to be a stock that you can buy and hold. I just think it's a down 10% plus. Look for the first even dollar level to hold, which it has. But DWAC, wow. Yesterday, there's no question about it. Whoops.
Not getting DWAC'd.
Why did the warrant come up first for me there?
I want you to trade the warrants, man.
No,
but that's actually a tip.
But why did the warrant come up first?
Because if this halts.
Oh, you know, if DWAC were to halt, you can always track
warrants.
price action with one of the two warrants. One of them is U, the other one's maybe C.
I think U.
Oh, sorry, U and W.
Yeah. Okay.
W, obviously. But DWAC is at the highs or near the highs of the day. I think if you're trading Funware, you might want to keep an eye on this. So I might leave a chart up so I can follow along. Because if that's breaking fresh highs, and it's like the futures market for these two, then I don't want to be shorting Funware at the wrong prices. DWAC has a wick up there at 25 even. I think that could be a top. As mentioned, I said I would not reload that 20 short. So there's the 20 short off the big seller. Didn't reload. Look, Funware's breaking the highs again. So sometimes it's about saving yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the best trades you can make is to not lose. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Take profits when you're in the money. If I'm trading something which is generally speaking counter trend, I'm always going to want to get that profit out and not exacerbate the situation. Funware's gone squeezing again because why not?
I mean, we literally talk about this every day, and I want to thank everybody for watching. It's about risk management over and over and over again, right, at the end of the day. And I'm actually, it's funny that Neil just said that, and oh my God, I'm doing the same thing right now. I mean, here it is right here, guys. This is the trade, right? We got short up there. It came back in. We're a little nervous about the price action there, so we get that out. We still have it. It's still going to be a profitable name, but let's just wait to see what happens here as this starts to move around. So here we go, man. We've got it in. Let's just see if we can get this a little bit better.
Here we go.
Here we go.
If we don't say it, no one can hear it for another year. So
yeah, they probably. I mean, yeah, that's too bad, really. How bad Dallas is. Do you know that? Where's Sharif? Do you know that Green Bay has just as many wins in that Dallas stadium in the playoffs than Dallas does? Green Bay has just as many wins in Dallas's home. Than so Dallas does.
That's so sad. I almost I don't even want.
Can you believe that? Someone walking into Lambeau and
how
being
old
like,
is that stadium? That's not that.
30 years old.
That doesn't sound possible.
In 30 years, the Dallas Cowboys have won 3 playoff games.
Oh my God, that's a horrific.
Sick.
That's a horrific.
Okay, there it is right there. Let's go. We're not, I told you, man, we'll talk about football. We'll talk about whatever we want because we ain't stopping. There it is right now. Another one for AMD. We said that we would wait, we would average it in, and we would get this price up to that 156. We do it, damage done on AMD. There to the downside. Now, in the sleeping trade of the day, wake up, Snapchat. I got something to talk to you about. Let's see where we go right now on Snapchat. Hopefully, we know where we're going, and hopefully it is the other way. There it goes. Let's go, Snapchat. I'm honestly, I'm waiting at 38 just to get something out. This name has obviously been disappointing to me as it's just not moving around. We will wait. I thought on the upgrade it could go. It didn't. We'll wait for Snapchat. Be very, very patient. Come on, AMD. You can do it. we just bounced off 155. 155 was key before, and it looks like it may be key one more time. So we just got to piece out. We'll put another bid in the 20s just to see if this one wants to flow. But right now, look at my hair. It's crazy.
You did put a toque on.
Yeah. But we'll wait to see what happens here with AMD to the downside. Someone just said something about, I don't know why I got distracted. Someone said something about Tom Brady there. Okay, all right. That's that. AMD down into the 20s. We will wait for that one. Micron, again, we only have 8%. We got a piece out. We have 6% left. We got that out right there at 84 on Micron. But I still like this AMD. But remember, breaking through 156, we're gonzino on this one if that does happen. One more reload, though, up near 156.
Gonzino just makes me think of Benzino.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a daughter that's like famous or something. But
yes, I think so.
yeah, I don't know who it is, but apparently it's true. Benzino, I know.
No, it's like, it's not Dua Lipa, but it's one of those.
It's somebody.
It's not Ice Spice. It's one of those other ones. Who?
Coy Leray?
Hey.
Coy Leray.
Oh, Coy, that's right, because
Coy.
girls is players too.
There you go. See?
That's right.
Adara looks mildly amused by that. I thought that was a good pull. I'm not gonna reference a name like that. I'm just gonna throw it out there. But thank goodness I just got an out there and safe. I'm holding on to the last quarter. It just tagged the 15, so 3 long to 6 even. Once you get up to like the 15 level, at that point you're looking at 4 to 1. So you 3 or 4 to 1 depending on your slippage. I'm gonna take that out there. Hold on to the last quarter. If it gets to VWAP, it gets to VWAP. But that's a bounce play where you don't want to look and
Can't
get
get it all, my guy.
You got to respect it. The market did make a nice little bounce. You see, I'm only in the 2 positions. I want to get back. I'm going to get back to Rivian at some point. Just an idea of where save. Why do I have to zoom so far out? There you go. Just to get an idea on save. This is a pure scout playoff 6. Yesterday, the 6 bounce went like $1.30, $1.40. In no way, shape, or form am I expecting that today. Nor am I looking for that today. I'm looking for a nice little SSR bounce relief rally after it dropped $1. Nikola, I want to give, anytime I short this name, it's basically to previous resistance. You got yesterday's close sitting there at 64 cents. I think that's kind of an easy out for me on Nikola. It was a great short yesterday. Let's see if it can work again today. The market is trying to bounce. I don't think I'm getting this Apple. Apple does not seem to want to give dip buys either to VWAP or to that 180 level again. So we'll have to preach a little bit of patience when it comes to Apple. This could have been a missed opportunity. I think you had one shot on the wick bottom for Apple and on the wick bottom for Meta. And I'll be the first to admit, we can give levels all the time. Hey, look at this level. But it went 180.30. I was sitting at 22. Meta went to 358.61. I wasn't looking to start the long until 358.5. Sometimes that's what happens.
Man, we just,
It's
all right, so shout out to
DWAC, what the hell?
Shout out to Isan right here, Isan Mohammed Khani here. Sean, why did you miss Tesla? Well, you know what, Isan? It's, at least we didn't have Tesla written down on our sticky note, right? Let's just double check to see if we did or not right now. So let's go down and look at this. Oh yeah, just kidding. Of course, I know we have Tesla written down here. 212 long. All right, so we wrote down 212 long on Tesla, right? Let's just double check to see what's going on with Tesla right now. All right, so what's the bottom for Tesla? Oh, 212.30? Again, sorry, man. My bad. I missed that one. There's nothing I could do other than give the levels. I can't be on everything at all times, but there it is right there, man. You nailed that, Asan. And I don't apologize, but I'm just glad that everybody is part of Sticky Note Nation. Just keep going, man. Keep on watching it. Keep giving the views to that, and I'll keep on putting it out for you guys. Over 5,000 views right now on Sticky Note Nation, and it means a lot to me. So thank you so much. And honestly, thanks for bringing that up, because I do Sticky Note review, and if you want to watch and talk to me a little more personally, you could do that on the market recap show every single day. I think yesterday we had probably one of the best market recap shows, and we're just gonna have an even better one today. Look at this, man. We talked about reloading AMD over and over and over again at 156. So yeah, man, just like we reload it, we also empty that clip out as it falls back in, because this is a strong name for sure, and we don't want to be messing around with AMD for very long. Our stop on this one is slightly above 156, so we will watch out for AMD. And then Micron has made a little bit of a move up. This one, again, we got 99 problems. Micron ain't one at all. It's my number one stock here, Micron. And there goes AMD trying to rip off faces again.
Well, I waited for 24, and 24 happened on Funware. So we're here now. I also observed DWAC make a local high. That's the other thing. There's a refresher at the 24 level that I'm essentially short off of. My price is, okay, well, it doesn't round the prices, so it doesn't, nothing you can really see. If we break the quarter here, I'm just going to get out. That is a local top, just a little bit of fraction above that 24 level. I did observe DWAC pull back off of 26 even at the same time because I'm using that as a little bit of an indicator. So if that were to flush and it just got back through 25, I think Funware can follow in through. But we did say, or at least, I mean, I guess I'm talking about Funware. So I did say 24 was the next level, and I'll show you in a second where I want to get some out. So I'm just getting it out in front of 23, and then 22, and then 21. Because it's trend up, you do want to respect that trend. Yeah, it looks like it wants to break the high. And we're out. So I was able to scalp a bit of it out there before it broke that local high. Now I can sort of calm down and say why I like the 24 level. There's 24. The first long I had in Funware was at 24 yesterday. So the first place, well, the second place I look for the short is going to be at 24. If it holds a bit and DWAC takes out the high, this could be a long, I'd say, into about 30. But until I see it really hold bids above 24, I don't know that I want to be fighting this name. So we'll stick to the guns and wait patiently for the key price levels and then trade. You execute at key price levels. If you're joining the trend, it's a little bit different. But if you're going against the grain, it behooves you to be very, very, very patient. That's why I waited for exactly $6 on Spirit Airlines. That's why I waited on NEO. See, Spirit gave you the bottom here. I got filled at ones. I got filled at 4.5 as well. I got an average price of 3. It's going to show me long at 1, but you can see I took 2 longs in there, right? So I actually had 4.5s, and then I had a fill at ones. So it's good. My average price was 603, no question about it. And then NEO, the problem with being patient is sometimes you don't get the trade that you want. I wanted the long at $6 on NIL, went to 612. So, you know, in one case you get it, in another case you don't, but that is the cost of doing business as a trader. If you're going to limit loss, and that's risk management, then you have to miss a trade here or there because you were unwilling to compromise on your entry and your risk plan. But yeah, NEO off 6, looks like it would have been good. I wish I could tell you that Pinduoduo, that 136 level, it held. I was kind of geared up for the flat bottom break. Can't tell a lie. Like I look at this and I see, ooh, if this level breaks, Pinduoduo, the spread could open up to $1 on that stock if it breaks a level like that. But it didn't. It actually held pretty decently.
All right. Does anybody, I know Neil remembers my new favorite stock. It's a firm. And there's 20 cents. Didn't want to interrupt. We just put the bid on. It just touched down 40s. That's 40 cents. Nice trade on a firm. Let's see if that one can work out, man. That's a brand new position. And by the way, here we go. Attention, Brendo or whoever is working on this. You should start selling Sticky Note Nation gear. Yeah, we'll start selling some gear. We need to start selling some Trader TV Live gear. And when we figure that out, we will. We may not. There's not much margin, but we got to get it out for you guys, right? Sticky Note Nation is probably used by institution investors. I don't know. But if it is, man, they've been making money recently, but it doesn't matter. It's for you guys. So let's just make money together. How does that sound right now? How does a firm sound? Again, it doesn't, this is the thing. You're already watching the best show out there. We're already here. You know, this Affirm, this wasn't on the sticky note, but if you're watching this, you know this is the name that I want to short to hell every single day. We talked about that. We talked about getting out of it right off the open if you're short at 51. You know, down to 39, great price action. Comes back up, the same thing as yesterday, comes right into the highs. I just flipped over to Affirm. Like I said, man, same stuff, different shovel, and we're still here every single day for you. So again, keep watching. We're all just getting started right now. So Tesla's breaking. Yeah, watch out for these markets making these lows, man. We did hold on to some AMD. This is now 30 cents in the money and starting to go lower. We did get a piece out when we broke through 156.15 there, but we were always going to hold the piece. Here it comes, man. We are really cranking lower right now. And boy, oh boy, shout out to my guy over there, wherever Obi is. This is really starting to get juicy now to the downside. And there it is. Let's take out some more profits here on AMD, on MU. There it is right there. Yeah, thank you. The sticky note and Affirm is feeding families. Thank you so much, Honest Abe, for your support.
Abe is always honest. That's one thing
Yes,
we can all,
sir.
can all agree on. I love the names in the chat, guys. I love that you have fun with it. Continue to do so. And it's not that we try to ignore, but if you have a catchy name or you remember, it just stands out like a sore thumb. Shout out to everyone in there checking at some small caps. But I have two windows dedicated to these. I got some penny stocks on. I got Save. I can only look at DWAC and Funware. So I know that Minim, was it Minim?
That is a stock. MIMO is one.
Mimo. It's Mimo. Minim is a different stock. It's Mimo is making some moves, but there are other small caps making moves as well. So let's check in on those with Darren.
Rail Vision, RVSN, definitely one to watch this morning, trading higher after a leading US-based rail and leasing services company ordered $5 million worth of their switchyard system. So keep an eye on RVSN. We also have got some other names on watch here, including Bullfrog AI, BRFG, reporting early results from its collaboration on brain development studies, seeing some positive results there too. So BRFG up about 35% right now, guys. Last but not least, Evolus, EOLS, with a higher than expected preliminary Q4 revenue forecasting. So really good look here on EOLS, actually making new 52-week highs earlier today, guys.
Thank you very much there, Adara. Mr. Weed, that's not a, don't, I mean, you say you're short Mara, so you guys probably want to long it. I would never take, here's the thing, never take a position just simply because somebody has that or the other. Like, what's the reason for getting in? Like, every single trade, and that's the whole point of the sticky note, our morning notes, our watch list. When we go, we come on at 8:30 for a reason, so that you can have an idea and a reason for every single thing that you want to do. So I don't see I can't see anything against the direction short and Mara. I don't know the position you have. I don't. Like, again, it's not relevant. But Mara is trending to the downside. So you're with the trend. I actually see a potential flat bottom. It's not a flat bottom break, it's a double bottom break, and the 50 period if it breaks 17 even, it's down 2.5%. I'm not saying this is a fantastic short because I don't know where you're in it or what your stop is. But the trend has been to the downside into this 17 level. It doesn't look that dissimilar from some of the EV names if you look at the last couple days. I'm only in Nikola. I just took another leg out of Save. Spirit Airlines doesn't seem like it wants to go too much further past these teams. So once again, this bounce in Spirit, it got as high as 16, but it's holding on for dear life at 610. This is not a reload situation. It's a scalp trade. I'm long 01s. At this point, the last 10%, I'm long 01s. I'll probably get out at like 97 or 98, depending on what the slippage is. And I expect there to be at least a little bit of slippage. I'm actually looking at Rivian. Like, how many times is it going to tag 715 and not look for the short at that level? I mean, it's down 4%. I know it's trying to break out here, but that feels like a really tight stop. It's still giving you the range in here to play with, and the market is still showing some relative weakness overall. So, I'm still in Nikola. That one's held. But Rivian we got away from. I'm going to give it one more shot here at the quarters. Sorry, the teens.
Yeah, Rivian is, despite the damage, oh no, Micron is higher than Rivian. Rivian my number 2 stock as well. So look, guys, honestly, I'm going to have a new individual on next week that's going to talk on the market recap show all about marijuana stocks. So pay attention for that. I'm just going to vet and everything. So here's the thing. I do everything for that recap show. Adair sends me some notes. It's about vetting and getting some of these people on so that I know that that, we're getting on, people in the industry that actually know what they're talking about, So I'm going to get that to you next week. The thing is, though, first of all, AMD right now just took off a little bit, so I got to address this. I was waiting for 150. Okay. Wow. Okay, AMD. This is like funny stock, man. We just got short there. Like, this might absolutely. If it breaks through 156.50, we're gone. We just took some profit. We actually got out of half there, down at 20. But here we go. It looks like it is trying to break. I do have some more bids a little bit lower than where we are right now, obviously. But if we break through that 156.50, then we are, like we said, Gonzino on this one. A couple more pennies higher. We don't get out exactly on the break, but we will be out very, very soon. Okay, it just broke. broke and came back. So I just tried to take some out at 42 there on that rejection because we were pennies away from getting stopped right there. All right, so there it is. We are now going to get stopped. No, and almost. All right, so this position is going to get stopped out. But there it goes, man. AMD nicely done to the upside. Congratulations, anybody bought those dips. We were looking at that 155. And unfortunately, we were short at that time. We did pull the trigger and got out of some of those shorts, but at the same time, not a great trade there for me on AMD. On that last reload, we give it back a little bit there on that. So not a good move there, but the market's trying to go back to the upside, which was good for a firm. It's not good for a firm, but we just got VWAP again on AFRM. So a little bit of happy, joy on that one, as a firm's looking like it wants to do some damage there as well. So yeah, so far so good on the day. We're just going to keep reloading everything. AMD does take that out. Now it's going to bounce around a little bit. And again, let's not get too confused about what we're doing. We got to leave it alone until it gets somewhere else. I'm going to do some work on that. Shout out to Mark A. He knows that I've been looking at PaySafe, but PaySafe has been hot garbage. So this stock has not been good. But on the daily, it's trying to break out again through 1450. So actually, Mark, this does look pretty fantastic, man, if you're going to ask me. Breaking back above. We'll find out what the...
$15 looks great for...
I know, that's what I was just going to think about here. I did want to see what the short flow is.
It's only 4%. The first thing, the second I saw PaySafe in there, I was just curious whether it had double-digit short flow. Because if it had double-digit short flow, I was looking at this 4%. Breakout. Oops, I'm on the Alibaba chart. Sorry, that's why you didn't change the chart, because Neil, you were on the wrong stock. I like Baba's interesting as well, but this breakout on the daily. Oh, you got a bad wick. Let me just go to my trade ideas chart for you guys. That's going to be a little bit better. That's why you saw me look up there, because I was looking at the break locally on PaySafe against the grain of the market. If it had 4% short flow and the volume's pretty much non-existent. So it's done like a few 100,000 shares today. So you probably have to sit that one out. Sometimes the setup can look really good. There's just no trade there because of a lack of volume. But Alibaba is setting up for a breakout of the top. Like right here, you've got 68.5. The market's bouncing. Sometimes when everything is the worst in China, it's when it does one of these days where it rips people's faces off. And it hasn't ripped faces off yet. It's down 1.5%. But if it were to take out 68.5, I mean, to get back to previous close is $1. I think you risk it to the quarters. That's really not that bad of a play. So I don't worry as much about time of day with breakouts in the Chinese ADRs, because to me, they're always under the gun to make a move before you get to like 2 o'clock. So I'm going to look for the breakout here. I wish I was in PDD, but if ifs and buts and whatever, there's a phrase that goes along with that. But I just prefer Alibaba as a relief rally to PDD, which it was off support at 136 that I would have liked. And my gut when I sat down was, actually last night I was saying 142, or I wrote down I like the 142 short on Pinduoduo. You can see it gapped underneath that. I'm still thinking that if it breaks higher. So I'd rather take the break on Alibaba to get a relief rally than take the break on Pinduoduo.
Still not getting any Snapchat love there. I was looking at that Alibaba as well, but I feel like now that...
Neobounds?
That's what I'm saying. Now that like the whole sort of thinking of China being a short is maybe not going to be good, I'm going to wait before I do anything on those names. What a good bounce off of 180. We said we were going to wait for that. You had to be a little bit... Yeah, you had to really like it because you had to get long at 40s or 50s down there. That's a little bit too risky for me as well. Nothing's really... You know, the market's good. It's been a nice sell-off situation here today. You know, if you are super excited about names like Softy, or I still think there's a bigger move coming, but Microsoft, you know, was just touching 400. You're down 1% today. Could be a buying opportunity there on Softy. I feel like Tesla is still like hovering, man. This is that 212 area that we talked about, with Tesla being down 3 and a bit percentage points. Lots of interesting names to trade at lots of interesting levels. So here we go again to the downside for Tesla. Let's go back over to the desk right now and find out crypto. Oh yeah, we haven't really looked at crypto too much yet, although we have Bitcoin down here at 42.5. Let's go find out from Madera what's happening.
Coinbase is literally not moving.
Just keep an eye on Coinbase today. Definitely one to watch with regards to its decision to contest the SEC's classification of the tokens that it trades as securities. It's presenting its case in the federal court today. This is reported by Reuters, basically arguing that the tokens it facilitates shouldn't be classified as securities and therefore should not be governed by the SEC. Interesting stuff here. Stock not reacting too much to it, but definitely keep an eye on COIN with regards to this update, guys. In terms of Bitcoin itself, sorry about that, my bad there. In terms of Bitcoin itself, trading a little bit to the downside here, hitting around that 42,000 area. Down about 1%. Ethereum a little bit lower still, well within that 2,500 level as well. Solana up above 100. Rest of these stocks, pretty mixed performances here. Cardano down about 2%, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. Actually, I looked at Coinbase just now because I was like, is this finally setting up for a trade? And the answer was actually no. You're still basically diddling in the middle. Like you're not really, there's not a distinct direction yet, although I would argue it's slightly to the downside, but it's not a distinct direction. I did just trigger into Alibaba. So we took the breakout trade. Like I said, I like to give it to the quarters here. I think you've got room to previous close if it decides to trend up. The good news for Baba is it's so far to the downside, and because it's a Chinese ADR, the market doesn't necessarily have to rally for this to work. It won't hurt if the market decides to rally, though.
Disney is all the way down and might be a buy down there near 91. Disney down 1.9%. But if you did want to join us, there's an easy way to do it, especially if you are in, and only if you are in Canada right now. You can join us on the campus program. We've talked about this. You can hit up Bears versus Bulls. I believe you can also pound or exclamation mark campus or something like that. Trade real money, gain real experience. You can use the exact same platform we're using, which is built by traders for traders. So you get to use that. You get to see these lightning fast executions. You get basically a quick little introduction. This is why it's called campus. It's a class. All right, you're going to get introduced into the markets, couple days right there, then a couple weeks in understanding our trading platform and figuring out exactly what's good with that. And then you get into TMS, man. This could take as long as you need, 4+ weeks, where you're going to learn, like I said, remember, you want to give yourself a month, 2 months in sort of paper trading mode. That's exactly what you're going to do right there with objectives. So it's like class, man. Will you pass the class? And if you do, then the final goal is numero cuatro, as you'll go phase 4 here into the trading goals. And then, man, it's all about live trading. And that's where you can earn real money and make those dreams come true or shattered down to the ground. But that's what the opportunity is. I just missed out on Tesla there. I honestly, I put a 30 bid. I talked about that 212 area that we like. And I'm going to start the bidding now at 212.50. If it does come out, who's got 212.50? You got 212.50, 212.40 coming in there. 212.30, good to go. Sold. So if we get that one, the only time I will be selling this one is a break of 212 flat. So we do not have it on though. So that really, really sucks. And what's up, Chelsea, Ashley? You're waiting for someone to sponsor you to come to Canada? Just crash the border. It'd be fine. You come in here. Everyone else does. Oh, Neil said it.
No, you said it.
Yeah.
No, I said it.
Yeah, dreams and nightmares. Exactly. Shout out. I'm going to shout out Meek Mill first here, Professor, because of dreams and nightmares. Shout out to Philly. Right
Philly,
there.
what up?
Yeah, Philly, what up? Yeah.
We try not to talk about politics here. Speaking of changing the subject randomly, not randomly, but to a good stock, Boeing is actually having a great recovery. This is, I
didn't hear what you said.
If you look at Boeing recently, it's obviously stunk a lot. There's your bid at 200 that just held on today. There's your wipeout bottom. It's actually stacking up for a bit of a flat top break. This is a similar setup to Alibaba, although this one is actually at the highs and hasn't broken yet. I got the break on Baba. It has to bounce off the quarters. If it can bounce there, I might take a shot to add to it, but I want to see that one hold. Boeing would be a very similar sort of notion, but I'd much rather on Boeing, like Alibaba sometimes gets the algos going, so this time of day it's okay, but something like this, where you actually are going to be following a little bit what's going on in the market, I'd much rather dip buy it. Let me just go to the 3-minute. I'm not going to zoom all the way out. And for dip buys, it's either VWAP or the clear level at 202. So that's what I think is setting up for us here in Boeing. Super strong, relatively speaking, with that 2%. But if you've looked at the chart recently, you know exactly what has been happening. It's a relief rally. If anything, the relief rally in Spirit Airlines looks like it's coming to an end. I'm still not going to reload this at 6. Part of me wants to consider breaking short at 6 even. So in order to do that, I think they're free actually. It was free yesterday, but I'll double check. Because if 6 breaks, it might just be an easy scalp trade. Like you get 98s or 99s. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. It probably goes right to like 590 after that, scalps them out, and then try to hold the short. The local low, the bottom yesterday was at $5.60. So you have enough room for that to work. So I'm not reloading on 6, but I would take a breakdown trade if it happens. Chill vibes, we checked Mara once. Don't mind looking at it again. Like unless Boeing sets up here, Rivian comes back above 17 for a short. Mara did break 17 even. Okay, that's a little spicy. It broke 17, got to 1690. We were just looking at that breakdown. Oh no, it already broke yesterday's low. Check that. 17 even's more of just a psychological level. It already broke yesterday's low. I think when you break a double bottom like that, I'm generally looking short for another leg into the downside. You're just not getting the movement out of the crypto names today at all. Like I know it's down 4%, but look at that inside kind of day.
Yeah. Strange. Okay. All right. I just tweeted out, oh yeah, what's my favorite stock? You're like, what's my name? What's my name? Shout out to Ludacris. There's a firm. Like, again, you want to come back to pre-market highs and do stuff like this? I mean, you're just going to get shorted every time. So there's a firm, nice move to the downside. And again, this time though, I'm not even going to reload this thing. The market's trying to go back up to the upside. You have to have the ability to flip up said game plan, you know, and sometimes you want to look for some longs. So we've just been getting out of everything, man. I have not re-engaged in AMD. We probably should have done that at some point today, especially off of VWAP. So we're going to wait to see about that one up here at 157. That could be something. The name that we went to before we went on, I don't know what we talked about there, was Disney.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it was crypto. We went over to crypto, but Disney dropped in. Like this name is actually, I was like happy with its move back up, but then we talked about this earlier on. You ran right into this support level. I was thinking maybe 96 could have been that problem, but it looks like yesterday off of ESPN and Disney and Apple and NFL and just some talk there for Disney, they definitely got that nice bump off the 200 period MA right there on the daily, but now you're right back to the 50. You know, it's kind of like a little golden cross action right there with the 50 and the 200, but that doesn't really mean anything. Golden crosses are right 9 out of the last 50 times or something like that.
You have to have another reason.
Yeah, exactly. So Disney right now, I like it. I like the stock above this 90. It's got to stay there, and we may not be there for very long. You lose that bid, and then you lose everything on Disney. So watch out for that one coming through. Another name that's been watch out, especially if you're sitting near a door, you got to watch out for Boeing because the next thing you know, you might be outside. But for right now,
Nobody was hurt.
yeah, nobody was hurt. Thank God. Imagine if someone was hurt. Who knows where this stock would be right now?
170.
But Boeing is again falling out of, you know, again, big move down. The thing is, though, you are finding a spot at $2. So the low today. What? Did we get to 197 or no? No, we did not. Oh yeah, we did. Basically, right off the open, we are under 2. So we kind of opened up in and around 200. That's pretty gold, man. So anything back into there, let's see if we can hold 200. Unfortunately, if I maybe zoom in a little bit, there it goes, look a little bit better. So there it is, 199 right off the jump. Took the pre-market and nice upside move. So my, you know, a little scared to trade Boeing there because I'm like, it's ears to the ground. Alaska Airlines, again, something else about, you know, they have the whole fleet there. So does UAL. So, you know, some of these names are worrying. And I think it was maybe Adara. Where is she? Well, she'd get ready for the midday show. But I think there was a story about Alaska and Alaska Air or something. But anyways, Boeing, nice upside. And I just want to say about a firm because it's coming in right now. Sector. Oh yeah, she's getting ready for Sector Watch. Shout out to Adara. Again, like, she's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
All right, so 40. I'm going to get out for flat if this breaks. 40.36 on a firm. So why am I like so confident in a firm here and I'm not right now? Well, this was a retest back into the 200. Now you completely make that bottom. You bounce basically off of VWAP, and now you're trying to go higher with the market trying to go higher. Not a great shorting opportunity, in my opinion, for a firm. Are we ready for Adara? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think we heard it, but we just threw it over to Adara right now. If you're looking at sectors and you're like thinking about, you know, I want to watch out for them, well, this is a perfect opportunity because it's sector watch with Adara.
Gambling stocks.
Not a lot of sectors to watch today to the upside, at least, with the exception here of health services, UNH leading this group to the upside. Other than that, though, it's pretty mixed. Energy minerals, rare day that this one is pretty much flat. Here in energy minerals, utilities also pretty flat, same with commercial services. But we do have earnings from Visa and American Express next week, so keep an eye on this sector for sure heading into that. Finance a bit more mixed. Charles Schwab very much to the downside after its earnings report, so keep an eye on that name as well. Health technology also a bit more of a mixed bag, but of course we have to talk about these two tech sectors here. Electronic technology, rare down day for the chip names as in recent, but Boeing actually to the upside, as was just mentioned, with the FAA actually having completed checks on 40 of the 737 MAX 9s that have been grounded. So Boeing actually to the upside today in a sector that's generally negative. Technology services also mostly red here to the downside. Adobe very red on the day, guys.
Sometimes
Adobe
those are
very red.
opportunities. Like I saw UNH is up there 1.3%.
Buy that.
When they reported, that was actually a nice little bottom in front of the 500 level. Ali, oi, oi, oi.
Ali, oi, oi, oi.
I love that.
Ali,
show.
oi. Ali.
I love the show. But anyways, well, that was like to me the best thing Kimmel ever did. But anyways, Alibaba just took out a fresh high. I just got some out. It just tagged like the mid 60s there. But it was DraftKings. I wanted to get to this before it actually makes the break, because DraftKings, I feel as if, and shout out to everyone in the chat that actually mentioned this stock. And the break, I mean $35 is incoming. Show me the red candle since the open on DraftKings on the 15-minute. Oh, that's right, you're not going to find one. Should have had 34. If you had this up, you would have been looking at the 34 level, my guess. Once, twice, 3, 4 times. It's shown resistance. It broke. Now on the daily, you're looking at a 35 break. The 50 period's just in front of 36. There's still room to run. I think when a stock like this is rallying, like look at that move. Consolidation, jump. A little bit of a pullback, consolidation, jump. I think you just wait for your next shot. I'd rather it break 35 even or give you something a little bit better here in the 60s and maybe the low 70s. But DraftKings to the upside, powering it. That one's a little bit loud. It's okay. It's powering up, but as is Alibaba, it just tagged the 70. So Baba.
$70?
No, it's not at $70. Although,
Okay.
as I have these ridiculous wicks in the chart, so it's going to scale to the 70 level. 70 was the afternoon resistance. I think this is where you're looking for. If it holds and starts breaking up, I think 70 is a short if it gets to that price, partly because it was such a gigantic level on the daily chart as well. Like there's 70 just broke. If it gets to 70, I'd probably look short. That's a long ways away. For now, it's just a scalp trade. We'll see if it can do more.
All right, Snapchat bang. At least it went up. Okay, right now it's layoff time, and it does suck. I hate to, watch the stock go all the way to the upside right there, but PayPal now announcing layoffs, and it absolutely just ripped to $59. It just went up $3, basically. Well, $2.50. Went from $56.50 to $59, and then stopped and dropped. And shutting him down and opening up shop as well.
Rest in peace to the legend.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. There's so many people we lost. I feel like I don't know.
You know what I loved about anybody that's I wasn't look, I wasn't at like the new Woodstock or anything, but we had a friend whose little sister was there. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I don't know who, but
a lot of people that were there would tell you the performance by DMX was just ridiculous. He goes out there, no entourage, nothing, and he sounds just like he was on the album. That's a dude that just didn't care about the bling and all that other nonsense. He just loved making music, man. I think that's what, like to me, when you're trading, like you have to have a little bit of that in you. Like you've got, because the thing about it's like you'll have the .com bubble bursting, you'll have the 08 crisis, you'll get the meme stocks going absolutely crazy, and then you'll have other times where you're grinding it out. Like you're grinding the market moves. There's no DWAC trades that are just gonna give you one trade to make your entire quarter. Like that doesn't happen all the time. You've got to grind it on a day-to-day basis most of the time, but then when the big things happen, you can be there. And you have to have the passion and the stick-to-itiveness, which I think is a word now, the stick-to-itiveness to make sure that you get that. And that's what I loved about him. I think he had a lot of passion for the game, and he didn't care about the glitz. He was in it because he loved it. Speaking about the game could be over on Spirit Airlines at 6. It's on the bid again. I'm not reloading the trade. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. It was an even dollar level trade. That's why I got into it. I don't like the reload. I'm going to try to reverse it, but you can't hit the bid without an uptick to go short. So I'll get out automatically when $6, if $6 breaks, I shouldn't say when, if $6 breaks, and I'm going to try to get short in the high 90s. If I get it, I get it. I showed you 560 was yesterday's low on Spirit Airlines.
All right. Yes, sir. Okay, it looks like we do have a little bit of not a mistake, but we could have reloaded a firm at that same level. Instead, we got nervous about getting out because I honestly thought that the market was turning around, and it did turn around. It's just it bounced off VWAP. So it's got to take VWAP for me to be really, really nervous. It's just I know a firm can go. Like if that breaks. So anyways, we'll hold on to a firm. Definitely a missed opportunity on that one. All right. Yeah. I mean, I just tweeted that out again. And I mean, we've put on the sticky note 212 a bunch like that's now held like 4 times. And every time it's held, it's given you about $1.50. This last time it gave you $2, and now it's coming back in. I definitely missed it here, but I was sitting at 30 again here.
Or you couldn't
and it
even
only
get it.
went to 50. Well, you could have got it. I just was not aggressive.
Oh, no,
It's
Save.
Oh, Save, Spirit Air. Okay.
I knew that's exactly what happened.
That broke through 16 there. Let's just check back in PayPal quickly because
Couldn't get short.
PayPal went to a great level of $59, man. And if you're going to look here on a 20-period chart, if we zoom back in just a little bit, like look where this stock went to, the 50-period moving average right there. That's not something that, again, I think that that's the wick high. That's kind of a little bit of a fluke that it hit that average. It's more that it just went to this even dollar level right here, 59, maybe 58.80, and then stopped. So that was like where we were yesterday, and then it fell back in again. So I feel like that's a decent short if we can get back up into 58.80 again, and then you could use maybe 59.20 or something. I'm just going over this because in just a couple minutes, we are out of here. And on that note, we haven't done this yet. All right, so I got to go find it because we got the whole week. So I already have the week, so I got to tell you, I already know what's coming through Thursday and Friday, although I'm not going to be here Friday. Today is a good day. If you like chicken, today might not be a good day. So we'll say on that one, we'll hit the siren alert.
Shocking.
Psych. Today
Fish?
is jalapeno and 3 cheese beef burgers. It's beef burger. It's another one. Quiet. With roasted wedge potatoes. Sounds more like a lunch. So I like that. It's nice when there's a lunch, offered at lunch instead of like, sometimes it's like, rustic lasagna with like garlic bread. It's like, holy crap, how's anyone going to sit down? We sit here. That's why you got to go for a walk. You got to take your sort of
That's heavy.
breaks. Yeah, you want to watch out for that. But I'm just hoping, as always,
really
it's
heavy.
tuna on top of our salad.
That's another thing I like about the salad. I find if you eat like a heavy pasta lunch and you're trying to trade, like your brain just starts to get slow, man. Like know exactly. Everyone knows exactly what I'm
I don't
talking
need
about
that.
when you have that. It's not the best. It's another reason I like that salad. There's nothing wrong with lasagna.
Oh,
It's slightest, man.
I'll hold off my opinion on lasagna.
Look, I love lasagna.
So do I, but
No, well, this lasagna here.
this not much compares to lasagna I've had in my
Obviously,
life. if
Yeah,
you know
I mean,
what I'm
obviously,
saying.
let's be
So-
real. I mean, our caterer is going to get a lot of the stuff from Costco. Just going to call them out. Some good stuff.
Ooh, anonymous is fish for tuna. I like.
Yeah, we'll get there. We got money talks, apparently. Let's see how the USD is doing.
You can throw it early, man. 5
What?
seconds.
But you just...
USD to the upside for the 4th day in a row here, getting a bit of a bounce off of these slightly stronger than expected retail sales numbers. So USA retail sales month over month for December coming in at 0.6 versus 0.4 expected. Core retail sales also 0.2% higher than the estimate, so 0.4 versus 0.2. We do also have Fed Williams speaking at 3 p.m. today, so keep an eye on that. We did have some Fed speakers earlier today as well, so lots of Fed speak on the horizon and on watch heading into the rest of the day and week here. We also, here's the Chinese yuan against the USD to the downside today after we did have some economic data coming out of China. The GDP for the last quarter of 2023 coming in lower than expected, 5.2% versus the expected 5.3%. So the yuan getting a bit of a drop once again against the USD here, guys.
Thank you very much there, Dara. And we didn't get... I told you pretty much said exactly what was going to happen there because it was short sell restricted, that I have no problem getting out. You can always cover a long position in Spirit Airlines when it broke 6, but in terms of hitting the bid to go short, didn't get it. I did take it on the way back up. I just left the order in there at 97, which you can do. I chose to. I just scalped some out there when it hit 90 evens. But if it breaks back above and can't hold, like, say, 603, I'll just get out. Tight stop. Just want to respect what the stock has been doing. It made one SSR bounce. It might have just done a rinse there, and if that's a rinse, it could bounce 6 to VWAP again. So I am in the short, but I've already scalped some out. 560, as far as I'm concerned, yesterday's bottom is where I'm taking this one to. If it gets better than that, fair enough. That's all well and good, but I don't want to take any further than that. I want to get to DWAC because like yesterday the fun was in funware to the long. Today, like, you're just getting destroyed and whacked. It's like happy whack day, everybody. Shout out to The Simpsons. But I didn't think this was going to do this today. Otherwise, I would have been all over. Like, the 25 level looks really good on the daily chart. All you can do is look for what's next. We said this yesterday, that 30 is pretty wild from 30 to 33. The last time it was up here was a big rejection. There you go. It starts to zoom out. Now it's zooming out too far. There it is. 30 to 33. Those are the next short zones. But what I think can happen is if it's going to turn, if there's any turn in DWAC, I want to short funware. I made the top wick on funware today. And we had 2 shorts, 1 good. The second one should have been just as good, but I made the top wick on funware and then didn't get back into the trade. This, I'm going to look at DWAC. If DWAC looks like it's making a top at 30, I'm shorting fund instead because the fund's not here. It's in the futures of this market, which is square to DWAC. And why short the one that's going haywire instead of just shorting the one that has been loosely following it but is relatively weak? I'd much rather take the easy approach.
It's just so funny that we talked about it in the pre-market. I was like, you can just go long funware 15 cents. And like, Shrew's like, oh my God, DWAC is going nuts. I was like, okay, let's look at funware. Like, maybe it's not doing anything, but funware is huge, man. I mean, this is 15 cents to 24 cents. Like, you're going to be up 75% here in funware. I know it shows how much it's down, but you're going to have to watch out for that. OpenAI is speaking right now as we speak, and they're just talking about how the new OpenAI, the new ChatGPT, is going to be much better at writing computer code and things like that. So, maybe Microsoft on watch here. Microsoft puts in a paltry like $10 billion and the stock goes up like $1 trillion, honestly, on that. So that's amazing. We'll wait to hear if there's any new news about what Microsoft is doing. I think it went up like $800 million or billion dollars on that. So honestly, Microsoft has overtook Apple as the #1 name out there. And a year ago, basically now it's about 14 months ago, we didn't even know anything about this AI stuff. And you could see where we were. Just a year ago today, Microsoft was $242. So, I mean, there you go, man. Copilot, take me in, like, wow. Huge move. That's what I'm saying. Like, they've just really taken off. And Copilot, we didn't even know about it. And it was back into here. It was last September, October. 2 Octobers ago at this point is when they first started making that investment. And you could see what that's done to the stock. Like I said, hundreds of billions of dollars on a small investment. So, there it is. They're in Davos, Microsoft event. Okay. OpenAI CEO says that AI is the future. Wow, what a surprise. Become a new computer. That OpenAI can become a new computer operating system. Anyways, there's more notes about all of that. It's obviously Microsoft with Windows. They're going to be implementing all of this anyways. So, yeah,
exactly.
I mean, just stay tuned for
Everybody's
more.
going to be. I mean,
yeah, stay tuned. Just quickly as we get ready to go, man. There's only 4 minutes left. MU is coming in right now. So I'm going to put a bid right here, right now at like, my water's in my way, at 08. If we get that fill, that'd be great. We'll take that fill on Micron because it just went up to VWAP. Again, talking too much, looking at other things. Should have shorted that again. We love VWAP retracements back in on that as we will grab that 08 fill there as now it's coming back in. So that's going to be a good one. And we're going to end the day not at our highest spot because we did give some back on this AMD trade. But, positions pending, we're doing pretty good. It's too bad that Snapchat really went to sleep here today. I still like this, but unfortunately, like that 38 is the best we got. If it can get up to 40, we'll probably empty it out. I mean, I'm waiting right now at 42s and then at 48s. So hopefully we get a move back up into the 200 here on this one. And now the banks are heading down. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the investment in the banks heading into earnings, but you know they're still holding out pretty good. It's BAC, it's Morgan Stanley that are the ones in trouble. JP Morgan. Remember, if you bought XLF, XLF's largest holding is Berkshire Hathaway.
Which remember is they're insurance company, right? So.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, but Berkshire Hathaway, it's their holdings.
Oh no, of course. But, like the reason why it's in there, it's like people think it's like,
BAC
oh, it doesn't make
and
any
all
sense.
that. It doesn't really make
they're technically
that much sense.
An insurance business. Like that's
yeah, but
how they got themselves in there. But I think like the weighting, the weighting's a bit much. But if you like Berkshire anyways, no, it doesn't make any logical sense.
6% of XLF is Apple.
Exactly.
So you tell me if that makes any sense.
But again, the only reason they do that is because they're a little lazy and it's an insurance company.
Exactly.
But just to give you an update, we have 3 minutes to go. Save did break back out. I got the short on the way back up, not on the way down. It was SSR. If you could have gotten short at 6, it was essentially free money. But part of that is because it was short sell restricted. Like sometimes I feel like that was so easy to the downside because not everybody could go short there hitting the bid. Like you had to be short going into that level. So I did get it on the way back up. I was able to get a 7-cent scalp trade, and then on the way back to the upside, we lost 6 cents in. So I'll get away from this. It feels like it could be making a bit of a bottom on Spirit. At the same time, Alibaba, maybe it bounces off VWAP here. So it took out the high, went for the reload. It broke that quarters, so I got out. I think VWAP could come into play here for Alibaba. I thought we had a chance to break this and get really going out into the 69.5 and 70 level. Could still happen, but as it gets to lunchtime, you got to be a little bit more calm about it. I'm still in Nikola. We shorted the pop in Nikola. We're able to get back to what we wanted to do at the open, which was take this breakdown off 63. I didn't get it at the open, so I was able to get that a little bit late. Now it's down at 61. I got bids into 60, and then we'll just continue to hold this. As far as I'm concerned, Nikola has a one-way ticket to this June bottom down at 52 cents. I don't know if it gets there today, but usually when a penny stock makes a flat bottom break like that, it gets 65 cents. Like it wants that 50 level. It's just like these things when they break up. When it gets to 90, it wants a buck. When it breaks 60, this sucker's going to want that 50-cent level on Nikola. Not to say that I'm a buyer down there. I will be covering shorts into it, though.
I'm going to go log funware breaking through 24, so that could happen as well. And then just real quick as we get ready to go here. So what's up to Chelsea there in the chat? Thank you for asking me about AMD. We should have been short on VWAP here. So just real quick, I mean, this is to me is a good short. Anything back up here? Baby, just go to the chart just real quick here, quickly. Anything back up here into VWAP at 156.50, I'm going to start the short. I just put an offer right now on AMD at 40. So if we can come back into this level here, sort of this top, then I think we'll short it into this, and I won't get out until we break basically 157. So I don't really, it's too bad. Like I'm red on one name today. So we're going to be Affirm. So let's just review. Why not? Affirm, 1 for 1. AMD, 1-0. 1 for 1. We lost on AMD. We talked about that. Micron.
Oh my God.
2-1. Rivian.
Awesome.
3-1. Snapchat. 4-1. Pending. I don't know where this is going to go. It's been a great morning. I think that everybody really enjoyed themselves. I want to thank you so much to Ryan in the chat. Said we put on a great show, and I want to thank you for that. As we'll just keep on doing that, like I said, every single day.
Every day.
Just keep joining us back and forth, and you're going to have some midday education here today with Adair and Sharif like you do every day. So we just keep on getting bigger and better, and we're not planning on stopping at any point. So
we're not stopping, and apparently. But we're going to leave you with this one because, hey, we've been ragging on these EV names. Polestar, high of the day, up 9%. So there's a bull market. There's always something that is strong in the EV space. There's at least one thing to look at, although as I see it, if it gets to 2, I might short that thing. Let's get into the midday show. We've got Adara and the professor. Let's get our learn on.
Let's do it.
Why the hell's Polestar up today?
True trade.
What is up, beautiful
Hello.
people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara. I'm Sharif. And as per usual, we're going to wait for the chat to right away. This is going to be Adara's favorite lesson. We're talking about scalping, scalp trading, whatever you want to call it. Let's get right into the lesson. So let me just scroll up. A scalp trader intends to take as many small profits as possible. That's what we're looking for here. This is the opposite of a let your profits
This is what I am.
run
I'm a scalp
kind of
trader.
philosophy or system or mindset, which attempts to optimize positive trading results by increasing the size of the winning trade. This is the exact opposite, not the exact opposite, but completely different. This strategy achieves results by increasing the number of winners and sacrificing the size of the winning trade. So you take multiple trades with a higher win ratio, but a smaller win dollar amount per trade, but they accumulate. So it's not uncommon for a regular trader, right, a non-scalp trader, with a longer time frame to achieve positive results by winning only half or sometimes even less than half of their trades. It's just that the wins are much bigger than the losses, and we talked a lot about this when we talked about a trading plan. If you have a 1-to-1 ratio, right, then you'll break even. You'll break even if you're 50% accurate, assuming that your losses are not larger than your winners. If you do 2-to-1, then you only have to be right at 2/3 of the time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so in this particular case, a regular trader will look to have at least a 50% win ratio, whereas a scalp trader will need a larger win percentage to achieve the same results. A successful scalp trader, however, will have a much higher ratio of winning trades versus losing ones while keeping profits roughly equal or slightly bigger than the losses. So scalp trading, you're in a trade for a short period of time, you're taking a small move, and you're gonna repeat that over and over and over. That's kind of like the very ABCs of that explanation. The main premises of scalp trading are as follows. There's 3, okay? Lessened exposure limits risk. So the idea here is brief exposure to the markets diminishes the probability of running into an adverse event. You're not in a trade for all that long. You guys see Adara trading, she gets in Tesla, she takes a buck, she gets the hell out of Dodge, right? So that's kind of what she's doing. She's trying to limit her exposure to Tesla because Tesla's sometimes not best luck, right? Smaller moves are easier to obtain. So premise number 2 here, the smaller moves in the actual instrument itself are easier to obtain than larger moves. A bigger imbalance of supply and demand is needed to warrant a bigger price change. For example, it's easier for a stock to make a 1 penny move, obviously, than a $1 move. And so here, the idea again being that you size in for that 1 penny, that 10 penny move, and you get out of Dodge. You rinse, you repeat. You rinse, you repeat. We're going to talk about some strategies coming up, but we're just talking about the basics for now. And the third premise of scalp trading is that smaller moves are more frequent than larger ones. That's kind of play off the second premise, really. Even during relative quiet markets, there are many small movements a scalper can exploit. And the beautiful thing about that is you don't need a whole lot of change in the price action. What you typically need here is volume without the corresponding price change. So there can be equilibrium between buyers and sellers, but as long as there's volume being done on the day, it allows you to scalp. Now, how do you employ scalping as your primary trading style? Oh, I forgot to go to the topics. Right, there we go. Scalping tools we're on now. So a pure scalp trader will make a number of trades each day, perhaps in the hundreds. I don't know about that, but not me anyway. You do hundreds of trades? Yeah, you do hundreds of trades. That's why. So yeah, he is. The Katina man is a scalp trade. Well, I don't know if he's a scalp trader. He's taking dollars sometimes. So, but he does hundreds of trades. A scalper will mostly utilize the tick or the 1 minute charts, okay, since the time frame is small and they need to see setups as they take shape in close to as real time as possible. Supporting this system, you're going to have a number of tools at your disposal. You're going to need direct market access. With Day Trade the World, we obviously have direct market access. We don't route our orders only to one market maker or to one gateway. We have a plethora of different market makers and gateways that we can use, and you have to have direct market access. Otherwise, you're not going to get the best price at the best fill at the best time. So you need, some people call it direct market access. Some people call it direct access routing, direct access trading, whatever the hell you want to call it. You need direct access to the markets. The other thing you need is level 2. That's what we talked about all of last week. You need those level 2 quotations, which are essential for this type of trading. So this is the level 2 over here. This is the level 2. So you can see obviously on the left is the bid, the best bid on the market, and then the best offer on the market. And then where it says MPID, that's the gateway, and then next to that is the size. Okay, so those are going to be two of the things that you definitely have to have if you're going to start scalping. You need the book and you need direct market access. All right, so what are these scalping strategies that we're going to talk about? So the first type of scalping strategy is called market making. Okay, you're trying to be a pseudo market maker. What does that mean? Basically, you're trying to capitalize on the spread by simultaneously posting a bid and an offer for a specific stock. Obviously, the strategy can succeed only in the most immobile stocks that trade big volumes without any real price change. And we talked about some of these last week. The buyouts, where a stock moves up aggressively in one candle, moves sideways for the majority of the rest of the day, and basically what you're trying to get there is you're trying to see, is it trading within a 1 or 2 penny range? If it is, you sit on the bid, you get filled on the bid, and then you post on the ask, and you try to get filled on the ask for the offer. And basically what you're making money here off is you're taking big size, you're making a 1 or 2 penny move, as well as you're getting that rebate from the exchange. So you go on a gateway that pays you, what's it called? A rebate for adding liquidity into the market. So you have 2 ways by which you're making money, okay? So this is the first type of trading, scalp trading strategy. It's called market making. This kind of scalping is immensely hard to do successfully because a trader must compete with actual market makers for shares on both sides of the bid and the offer. Also, the profit is so small that any stock movement against the trader's position warrants a loss exceeding sometimes their original profit target. So if I'm trying to scalp 1 penny by sitting on the bid and selling on the ask for 50 or 100,000 shares, what if that thing goes against me 2 pennies? So now I'm basically out my entire, double my profit target. My profit target was 1 penny to the high side. Now I'm 2 pennies in the negative. So it's tough to do, and it requires a lot of practice and experience with the stocks that are very immobile but have high liquidity, okay? The second type of scalping style is done by purchasing a large numbers of shares that are sold for a gain on a very small price movement. A trader of this style will enter into positions for several thousand shares, sometimes several hundreds, we're not going to judge here, and wait for a small move, which is usually measured in cents. Such an approach requires highly liquid stocks, allowing, entering and exiting 3,000 to 10,000 shares easily here. So when you see Adara, she loves her scalpulation. Again, to use that Tesla example, she gets in at, what's Tesla at right now? 213. She punches along 213, and then she's outie at 213 and a quarter. So basically trying to take a small amount of price and limit her exposure to the vicissitudes and the insanities of Tesla trading.
I love the wording there, yeah. Said it.
The third type of scalpulation or scalping is considered to be closer to the traditional method of trading. A trader enters a specific amount of shares on any setup or signal from their system and closes the position as soon as the first exit signal is generated near that 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So essentially here, what they're trying to say is it's basically you can employ scalping using the regular methods of trading, but you're going to limit your exposure here to 1-to-1. So you know, whereas you were taking a quarter penny before, if you're going to risk 50 pennies on the Tesla trade punching long at 213, you're going to get out as soon as it hits 214, and you're not going to allow your exposure to, you know, be prolonged for more than that. So before I go on for the tips, anything to add or ask?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can like jump in on here. I like Sharif hinted at. I was very excited for Scalp Day. And I think one thing too that just because I'm seeing a lot of talk in the chat as well about like everyone starts as a scalper. I think what I find appealing about scalping, in addition to the fact that I'm a very new trader, still in the Sims, still learning and hopefully growing, is that I find it to be at least a bit more controlled. That's why, like, even though that market maker definition you talked about, I wouldn't say that's necessarily my style of scalping. However, I think that's part of the appeal to me, is that you can just go in, make these teeny tiny moves, like you said, like 25 cents in Tesla, something like that, right? And then just kind of get out. For me, a lot of it's just watching levels, waiting for my moment, and just taking a little nibble at the market, and then leaving before I can get run over. And so I think, yeah, I think that to me, obviously everyone's gonna have a slightly different take on scalping. That's why I say scalpulation, because I call it like a combination of scalping and calculating, like looking at that tape, looking at the level 2 to plan my entrances and exits. So that's my little 2 cents there.
Love it.
But yeah, I think it's a real, I'll definitely have more to say later too, but that's
yeah,
my take.
you and I are both looking at the same trade there. Meta awfully strong here. Yeah, that's what I had loaded up in my charts. All right, let's keep going on with the next part of the lesson so we can actually get to some trading. So here are some tips for novice scalpers. Newcomers to scalping need to make sure the trading style suits their personality, because it requires a very disciplined approach. Traders need to make quick decisions, spot opportunities, and constantly monitor the screen. Those who are impatient and feel gratified by picking and feel gratified by picking small successful trades are perfect for scalping. And remember, we talked, Dara, I hate to put you on the spot, obviously, but when you first started trading, remember I asked you, I'm like, what kind of personality do you have? Or would you say you're patient or impatient? And you described yourself, right? I didn't point any fingers.
Yeah, no.
But I think that your patience is growing, to be honest with you. So maybe you grow on, and scalpulation just becomes one of the quivers, one of the arrows in your quiver.
I like that analogy. Yeah, I'm open to that too, right? Like sometimes I will take longer stocks, but I think especially for my Mag 7, I like scalping.
Fair. All right, so order execution. Here's a tip for order execution for the novice. A novice needs to master the art of efficient order execution. A delayed or bad order can wipe out what little profit was earned and even result in a loss, sadly. Since the profit margin per trade is so limited and small, the order execution has to be, well, I don't want to say perfect, but it has to be highly accurate. As mentioned above, this requires supporting systems such as direct market access and level 2 quotes. So what does this all mean? A really long-winded of saying you gotta be quick on the keys. You gotta know how to set up shortcuts for the keys. You gotta have resting orders, whether to buy or to sell. You gotta have your alerts set up so when things come into your levels, you're quick with it. It's not one of those ones where you can sit there, digest the price action, mull it over a little bit, and then decide to punch in. It's not a swing trade, guys, nor is it an all-day hold. This type of trade, you get in, you get out, and you're kind of like a robber in the night, baby. You're right. You're just you're going into that Walmart like we all see in those videos. You're collecting what you want, and you're running out that front door, right? You see those videos. You guys know what I'm talking about. No, seriously though, you have to be quick with the keys. Make sure that the broker that you're using allows you to have hotkeys, short execution orders, etc., whatever. Like even my broker over here, I can right-click on the chart and put in an order. Super quick, right-click, buy. And then I take the line that it gives me and I put it at the exact price that I want. And then I can trigger it just like that. So you got to figure out how to streamline your order execution. All right, number 2. Frequency and costs are a major issue when scalp trading. What am I talking about? A novice scalper has to make sure to keep costs in mind when making trades. Scalping involves numerous trades, as many as hundreds during a trading session. We just finished talking about the Katina man taking 100 trades per day. Frequent buying and selling are bound to be costly in terms of commissions. I can tell you right offhand that scalping on IBKR, if you're set up on the traditional commish, is probably not very good, especially if you're not trading big boy size, because a 100 share order on Apple is going to cost me $1. I do that a bunch of times, and all of a sudden those commissions are racking up, right? The commissions at Day Trade the World, much better. We're talking pennies here. And sometimes you get paid a rebate. So the frequency and the costs have to be, top of mind when you're talking about scalping, because the commissions and the fees can definitely rack up. This makes it crucial to choose the right online broker. The broker should not only provide services like direct market access that we talked about, but also competitive commissions. All right, third tip, trading styles, all right? Spotting the trend and momentum comes in handy for a scalper who can even enter and exit briefly to repeat a pattern. A novice needs to understand the market pulse. And once the scalper has identified that, trend trading and momentum trading can help achieve profitable trades. We talked about momentum trading yesterday. What I said was I look for the stock that's strong on the day or weak on the day, and we're going to figure out a way to get in, whether long or short on that particular name. I personally don't like chasing the stocks. I want it to come into a key support level, whether on the 1, 5, 10, 20, whatever minute time frame, and get a dip trade off that. That's my style. So you're going to have to be number one, aware of the market pulse, have an idea of what momentum or trend trading is, and then basically have an idea of how to enter based on that style of trading. Are you going to just chase it? Are you a breakout trader? Are you a pullback trader? So you have to identify what methods you want to use within the larger umbrella of scalp trading, okay? Another strategy used by scalpers is a counter trend trade, but beginners should avoid using this strategy and stick to trading with the trend. And I want to let you guys know that the Obi, the One, the Kenobi will be on tomorrow, and he's going to be talking about mean reversion trading, which is kind of sometimes counter trend. Because when Tesla's down 3% on the day, he could be punching long at 213, trying to ride that bad boy up back to 214. So we're going to be talking a little bit about this counter trend mean reversion trading tomorrow, so make sure to stay in on that. And then technical analysis. You got to have a firm understanding about technical analysis. You got to understand how to use 3 specific indicators here that I want to harp on for scalp trading. Those are the moving average ribbon entry strategy, relative strength and weakness exit strategy, and multiple chart scalping. Multiple chart scalping just says, basically looking at a particular instrument on multiple time frames, whether the 1, the 5, maybe in the 15, or you have the daily in there somewhere. Personally, what I use is for small cap gappers, it's going to be 1, 5 in daily. For large caps, it's going to be 5, 15 in daily, okay? And last but not least, volume. As a technique, scalping requires frequent entry and exit decisions within a short time frame. Such a strategy can only be successfully implemented when orders can be filled, and this depends on liquidity. High volume trades offer a much needed liquidity, Adara, especially if you want to get in with several thousand shares and get out of Dodge real quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, my perspective on this is a little bit different as someone who uses teeny tiny share sizes. I'm still working, and that's one of the things I'm realizing too if I'm going to scalp, especially like when I was scalping, for example, Delta last week, I actually got in more shares with that, because now what I've been kind of doing is, especially if you're gonna get kind of more pennies, whereas some of these mega caps you can scalp like dollars out, you know what I mean? So for example, this meta trade, I took like around probably my average is share size. There we go, we're out of meta. And I'll talk about this trade in a second because it was a scalp, but thank you. But basically my strategy with these scalps now is kind of like, I do piece them out, which I will talk about in a second, but but B, I like to kind of take the amount of shares that I feel comfortable kind of, you know, using, right? Because, but I see what you mean in terms of liquidity, to go back to liquidity, because that was mainly what you brought up here. Yep. That's what I learned the hard way when I was trying to scalp Eli Lilly. You know, sometimes scalping Eli Lilly can work, but when Eli Lilly's below a milli, and that's why I started this, you just cannot scalp her. It is just not possible.
She not only puns now, she rhymes, baby.
I do a little bit of everything, right? But thank you. But yeah, so I mean, like, I'll look at, I'll just even pull up Lily here. Yeah, so volume's like 700,000. So if I was looking at this earlier, I would probably scalp, like, you know, go to get short here and then take it out when we see support, right? I would probably do that if we had more volume, but it's not something I'm going to touch just because we don't have the volume there. Do you know what I mean? I will pull up Meta though a little bit and talk about the scalp because it is scalp day. I got in here at this because I noticed we kind of had like a nice little area of support here, and then we fell viciously to the downside. We came back up. I watched, we kept hitting that 365 area. We'd go away and then we'd drift right back, and I was like, I like this. I see it and I like it. Got in at 365.20. Could have had a better point of entry. I could have waited for 365, but I got in. I waited patiently, although this was, I will have to admit, this is pretty hard for me to wait through. I got a little bit nervous when we rejected, but I saw that coming back to that 365, and I was like, okay. I was gonna get out if we failed this 365, 364 kind of 50 area, because that was a nice area of support. So I was like, if we fail that, I'm gonna have to say au revoir. But we didn't. I ended up taking part of my profit out at that 365.70, and this is where this is where the tape watching and the book watching comes in, because what was happening was I was noticing we would get up to this 365.70 and then we dance away. So I was like, I have to take some of my profit out here, right? So I did that. Then the main profit taker here was that 366 area. That was because this double top was really strong, and kind of I was like, I don't really know what we'll do here. We actually did end up eclipsing that, but I was still like, I say this all the time, I will go up to resistance. I get a little bit nervous holding above resistance. So that's my long-winded way of explaining my meta scalp here. There you go.
Fantastic, and I think that was a good scalp. And obviously, I think Meta's got more upside. That's just my opinion. Too, yeah. Meta looks awfully strong on the day, guys. The futures is pumping right now. I yelled to Neil and Sean earlier in the day, 16.7 held. That is now a distant dream because we're talking about a 16.8 clearance here. We got up to 16.8 and a quarter. I'm very interested in a possible futures trade here, but as per usual, I don't want to chase the futures. So I've got a dip trade set up on this bad boy at the top of this bull flag over here, Chilean Nightmare. If we can look at the chart, I'm gonna put in a bit of a dip trade here. Now I may or may not get filled. We did a bit of a wick dance at 16.8, and I think we've cleared it. I don't want to say we've cleared it successfully because, well, that would mean that I can see the future. But I have a sneaking suspicion we hold 16.8. So if that's the case, I want to get in on a bit of a dip to get a better cost basis rather than punching in at the high 16, basically at the current high, 16.820s, right? So let's see what we get here. The future still down, was just down 1%, now 0.85. So, to some degree, this is still a counter trend trade, but we've been pumping up here since that 16.7 break that we made at around 10 o'clock. The market seems to have bottomed around 10 a.m. and since that time has been making higher highs and higher lows. So this trade may go without me because I'm unwilling to chase it at this level, but I've put my dip on the future for 16.8 hold here on the MNQ. Let's see what we get there. But looking at the big tech names, because we haven't looked at big tech yet, let's bring in the trusty charts from the side and chat a little bit about this. Okay, so right off the bat, you can see which is the weakest of the bunch. It goes by the name of TSLA. It is down and to the right is making lower highs and lower lows, and that trend hasn't broken. Okay, so yesterday we closed out at that 220 area, and I got a message from Alfred saying he was excited, this, that, and the other, was coming into his level. I think he'll be a lot more excited today, and I probably will message him when the Neil comes on. What is it called? The Real Deal with Neil?
I think we're calling it that.
The Real Deal with Neil, baby, at 12 o'clock. Make sure to check that out. So I'm going to see what Mr. Zhang, Alfred Zhang, is saying there with respect to these new Tesla levels. But yeah, Tesla the weakest of the bunch. And not a distant second, but second in place is AAPL. So I was listening to some commentary from CNBS yesterday, and they said, look, I think we lost 2 of the Mag 7 components. It's Apple and Tesla. It's the Mag 5 now, according to one of the analysts there. Yeah. Remember, and I was talking about the Mag 10 possibly coming into next year? Remember we were talking about Uber maybe joining the party, Netflix coming back into that FANG group. But AAPL, awfully weak today. A bit of a flat top here brewing on Apple at that 182. A lot of selling coming in at 182 on Apple. We'll have to wait and see whether or not it can get going. But we had a bit of a double bottom yesterday in Apple's price action, not far away from that 182 area, guys. Look at this double bottom over here. It's a smidge above 182. It's at 182 and a quarter. So previous day's support now possibly acting as today's level of resistance. It's not an exact level, but it's awfully close. Talking about that 182 and a quarter on Apple. Now, the strongest of the bunch, guys, is going to have to go, obviously, to our friend Meta. Now, we see Softy over here. It's up or down the same percentage as Meta. They're both 0.29, but I gotta tell you, Meta's looking a little bit better in terms of getting into previous day's close. Previous day's close on Meta, 367.50. We are at 366.40, so we're $1 away from the yesterday, the previous day's close. On Microsoft, though, yeah, we're about $1. We're about $1.25 away. So very similar charts here between Meta and Softy. Maybe Amazon getting in on that mix as well. But if you're looking long, I think these two, for the moment, are the ones you may want to look at. Adair.
Yeah, no, I think definitely lots of interesting looks in the Mag 7. I've just been sitting here charting Tesla because I kind of like this wedgie thing we've got going on here. We have the lower highs. We have, I don't want us really, they're not really higher lows, they're not really a flat bottom, but I would say maybe if I move, you know, I've been playing around with trying to chart more like a human. And we have been, there we go. We have sort of like a flat bottom here. It's flattish. Either way, I think there is some kind of compression, and I would think that the chart past would tell us we could potentially head to the downside of this, right? If we compress, because usually I think from what I remember of our conversations with these patterns, usually they'll resolve in the direction that it's already moving. So this is not a reversal, it's a continuation. So if this does compress, I would say Tesla swoops down. So I am watching for a break of this 213 area. Put it in a very long-winded way, but I am looking for a 213 break. The only thing though is because of my style, I'd probably get in slightly before the break, then short it to just below 213 because I know what I like. I don't want to stay in the Cybertruck too long. You know what I mean? They let me get in it as we learned. They won't even let you look inside as we learned from Sharif.
What a tease!
It's a very perplexing situation. But yeah, so anyways, that Tesla's my main look right now. I also do have to address because we're talking about scalping. Not all scalps are made equally, and my attempt to short scalp Apple earlier today just was not it. So I want to talk about it. Oh my gosh, what am I? This is not the right ticker.
DWAC pumping. DWAC new high day.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I just want to let everybody know. DWAC new high day.
Go DWAC. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, it does not want to quit. Like that and Funwear. Funwear's having another day of fun. More fun in the sun for Funwear. But yeah, so I mean, this my logic with this Apple short, what I liked is we had this consolidative top, right? I was like, I was gonna probably take it short. I think I was gonna get part of it out of here, this 181, and then the rest was to see if we could get to this 180.38. So basically, like previous levels that were of interest, right? And I liked it too because I said, okay, we had this support earlier. We came back to this level. Every time we got to this level, we fell to the downside, right? Didn't end up working out. The second we broke above that nice consolidative top, I said goodbye. So we didn't overstay our welcome here. But I do, I want to talk about it because we're going to talk about all the trades, the good and the bad and the ugly. And this is just a situation where it was executed. The execution was, I got out where I needed to get out is what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, because I mean, you always have to go in with a plan, and that's one of the things I think that is daunting about scalping, but also what I like about scalping is because you especially when I'm scalping these Mag 7 names, right? They do move really quickly. So if I don't have a plan of exit, then it gets kind of dicey. But that's also why I like knowing exactly where I want to get in and where I want to get out, especially if I'm scalping these ranges, like with Meta, so that if it all of a sudden just flies to the upside, I'm not like, oh my gosh, where am I taking profit? You know what I mean? Because I know. There was someone in the chat also, shout out to you, I'm so sorry I don't remember what your name was, but saying that 367 actually looks like resistance on Meta. I would agree. I think longer term, it's definitely 367. We're coming into that now. I just like the 366 level for myself, just because, like I said, I like to kind of get these like clear kind of scalp areas. Like Sharif was saying, I get a dollar, get a couple cents, and then leave.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is like, I think the planning aspect of scalping is part of what's appealing to me, because I'm not ever, you know, my impatient side, as Sharif alluded to, my impatient side isn't getting rattled, because I kind of know, like, hey, you have a plan. As long as we don't break below this area, as long as I don't get into my stop loss, you can just kind of wait out for the plan to take place. So I guess that's my take on that.
I hear you. And then Clutch asking, what are your thoughts on DWAC with having zero revenue still? And look, you're absolutely not wrong on that, but you're thinking of this particular trade as a fundamental investor. You're thinking like a normal person who wants to take their hard-earned money, throw it into a stock and hope to, you know, reap some benefits because of sound fundamentals. But that's not what we're doing here. We're basing it entirely on technicals. So the company can have absolutely zero revenue, be upside down in terms of management, plan, everything, and continue to run up because, well, the technicals are pushing it up, right? Now, obviously, it becomes a risky situation, because if you have nothing to fall back on, you know, it's just a matter of time till the price comes crashing down. And anybody who participated in the meme craze of 2021 knows exactly what I'm talking about. Look where GameStop and AMC and, you know, COS, BlackBerry, whatever, were what they all ended up being. So a bit of a tough look there, but what I say to you is, you know, you're in it for an intraday trade, base it off technicals where you see support and resistance, that and the other, whatever your tools are for that. And don't worry too much about the long-term picture for an intraday trade, right? I mean, it's not irrelevant. Obviously, if there's a catalyst today that's helping propel something up, that's more of a fundamental part as well. But all you really need to know as a technical trader is that there is a catalyst, and that's justifying the reason to move up. And then you look more at the price action rather than the fundamentals in the long-term picture. All right, guys, I'm involved in the future. I'm taking a very small entry at this particular area because I was worried it was going to pump up without me. I've left my dip trade at the top end of this consolidation range intact. Shouldn't make it down there and get a better cost basis. I've already put a beak wetter as well through the break of that 30-point level. I'm talking about 16,830. So we'll see how the future resolves. It is a bit of a counter trend trade because we are down almost 1% on the NQ, but we are pumping up here ahead of VWAP and above 16.8. So we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. A bit of a riskier trade and not really down my wheelhouse because I typically go with the trend. Here is DWAC. It's doing a sideways consolidation, you could say, with a bit of a dollar range there. 26 to the bottom, 27 to the top, even though it's broken through 27. The majority of the closing prints are around that $27 area. So kind of a nice bull flight, well, you say whatever you want, kind of a sideways consolidation after this big move up here at 1030. And I do like how resistance flipped to support. So we clearly had a crest over here at 26 3/4, which was obviously a resistance level. Lo and behold, that level now acting as the level of support. So any dips in and around there have paid for you, and you could probably have made $1.50, given that if you got filled around 26 or a little bit lower, yeah, you spiked up into that 27 3/4, albeit momentarily on DWAC here. So a nice sideways consolidation on DWAC. Here we go, above 27 and again, coming into 27 1/4. The spread is a little wide though, guys, on DWAC, so be careful. It's 12 pennies now. It's been wider at other times. Now the spread is really important for scalp trading. We just finished talking about this. The wider the spread, the harder it's going to be to scalp, because you're not going to be able to get out that quickly because the bid is typically a little bit distant from the ask. So scalp traders, beware. DWAC is tougher to scalp. Not impossible to scalp, but tougher to scalp just because of the spread. So make sure you are sizing in accordingly here so you don't get bamboozled and end up taking a couple L's there. B. Davis, you're my guy. My girl Adara, aka Nicki Minaj, in the house. What's up, peeps? What? B Davis, you don't look like Nicki Minaj.
I mean, I guess because I don't know. I spit bars. I don't know. I have no
Ram's
idea.
laughing. Ah, you spit bars.
I occasionally.
You rip and you rhyme and you rhyme and you rip.
I occasionally rhyme.
You don't
And I
know.
make
You have
puns.
no idea where that's from, do you?
I do not know.
It's from Chappelle's show.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like again. I know Chappelle. I don't know his reference.
Yeah, I know. The show is like super old. You remember? Eh? The Katina man knows what I'm talking about. Dial on.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Because
Yeah.
he spits hot fire, right? Yeah. There we go. Mr. Meme knows exactly what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. We just took a couple of beak wetters on the fuge as we got to pump up through that 30 level. We're still not anywhere near in the clear as the fuge stepping up above 16.8, but by no means in the clear here. It's above VWAP. We're still very negative on the day. I'm talking about 80 basis points negative on the future. That means 0.8 anyway. We'll have to see how that does. The other one I'm eyeing here, Adara, is DWAC. It just got an almost 28 touch there. Looks like it's pumped up into 27 double eights. Now it's back into the low 27 area again. So a lot of volatility on DWAC, but the upward move continues.
Yeah, I mean, DWAC has been a beast. Like, I remember sitting there, it was like we were dancing with 4% to the upside when I was sitting at the big desk, and now DWAC was like, oh, you thought that was cool? Look at me at 21% to the upside. So very much does not want to be stopped. I'm not really sure what Tesla wants to do at 213. I was going to say Tesla doesn't want to be stopped at 213, but I don't really think it knows what it wants to be when it grows up yet. I was trying to short this when we first broke 213. I was trying to get it in at that 213.15. We did not get there. So unfortunately did not get part of that movement. I was going to take it to like 212.50 because I kind of liked that area. Like we have these failed wicks to the downside. I like that look. Looks like we're trying to pick back up again, but if we can't make another higher high, I'm going to take this to right below 213 again. I'm just going to kind of go in and out. We're going to make some scalps in the wild today. It is scalp day, and I find it to be a nice prime day for scalping.
What's the best scalp so that people see what we're
Right?
talking
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to find trades to get into. Right? I don't want to force myself into a trade here, but I have to say I do like this Tesla short scalp if we don't make a higher high here, because it looks like we could. But also Tesla's down like 3% in the day. I'm still not going to say it's a long. So yeah, so we shall see what occurs here. Also, the other scalp I have, which is maybe a bit counterintuitive, is Meta kind of couldn't make that 367. So we might short this baby back down. I'm gonna have to wait and see here. I don't like, I'll trade in whatever direction the stock's moving, right? So although I have been a little short biased as of late, which I know Sharif has mentioned as well and caught on to. Once I discovered shorting, I really enjoyed shorting. But it's like now it's more of like a balance, right? Like if I see the moment, I'll get involved. But yeah, I'm tempted to short Meta from this 366.30 because that seems to be a pretty solid level. And I would take it down to about where I initially entered that long, where we had the consolidation earlier, that 365 and a quarter, 365 and a third type area there. So that would I would be of interest. That would be of interest to me. That would have been the right word there. Also, Microsoft looking nice for a range. Yeah. Okay. Microsoft too, though, kind of coming into this. Oh yeah, we're kind of actually already there. This is the area in pre-market that we were kind of dancing around, and then we fell from pretty intensely. So I'm going to be cautious of this. But we have Sam Altman talking. We have OpenAI talking. Sam Altman also talking for the first time ever yesterday at that Davos event about the World Economic Forum. Well, yeah, I was gonna say about the he finally opened up about the whole getting fired thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, he didn't say that much about it because he was like, I don't know why you guys are asking me this. Like, we're here to talk about AI. But what he did say was that he was like really thrown off. It was a surprise. He didn't really know where it was gonna go from there. It was kind of what we would expect it to be.
Yeah, okay.
You can find it, I think, on CNBC. But
Yeah.
I read it last night and I was like, because I followed, I like got way into this whole thing. Like I
So
was
you
like
didn't throw
looking at
any
all
of
the board members.
under the bus.
No,
You just
he
say
handled
you
it
got
very
on them?
professionally, but I
What a
did think it
guy,
was
eh?
cool that he like opened up and was like, I was shocked. It's not something I've talked about for a reason. I
Yeah.
don't really want to talk about it, but also here are my thoughts. So that's
Fair.
if you were interested in that drama, I think that's worth saying. He also, I think, did refer to it as drama, which I appreciated.
Did he
But yeah,
actually?
like he's like, why are we talking about this drama? But no, I mean, Microsoft breaking even here, I'd be tempted to get involved in this. One more thing I want to say too that I appreciated that was in our little notes here and that you mentioned is that like there are different styles you can use for scalping, right? So some people can like get in and just take a small profit off of a break to the upside. What I like doing is I like doing scalping in the ranges. So we'll get involved at the low of the range, get out at the high if I'm doing a long, or vice versa. I find breakout scalps a little bit harder unless there's a clear area of resistance, because I don't really know where they're
Right.
gonna go for there, right? But I just wanted to touch on that because I appreciate, that's why I call it scalpulation. I think that's usually when I'm being a bit rangier. But yeah, everyone can have their own strategy and then just add some scalping into it. Just put a spoonful of scalp.
I love it.
That makes the medicine go down. There we go.
I'm good with that. I'm good with spoonfuls. Guys, Softy and Meta are awfully strong right now, and I'm gonna go ahead and suggest to you that they are the ones leading this market up. I don't know what Meta's weighting is on the NASDAQ. I haven't looked. I know Softy's probably not number one yet. It's bigger than Apple, but I don't think there's been a reweighting. But Softy's a monster right now. It's knocking the door of 390 again, and it's single-handedly bringing, I don't want to say single-handedly, but it's pumping up this market. I've already made 2 fat finger mistakes by adding to my futures position rather than removing, hence the exits here. But we are pumping up here on the future, guys. We're in the mid-30s now. We were chatting when we were in the teens, so we're about 20 points or so clear of that level on the future. I'd say, keep your eye out on that 50-point level, 16,850. It's not, I don't want to say it's not important of a level, but let's bring in the chart over here. It is kind of the crest for this.
So we are coming up on the 12 o'clock hour.
So I'm going to be looking for
And since I get up so early, I get up today at like 4 o'clock. So I am going to take my lunch right now, and we'll be back on the air at 1 p.m. So we're going to see you in a little bit. All right, take it easy.
Units or colors fan. One station to auction of scrubs. Welcome to P&D Uniforms and Accessories, where we treat all of our customers just like family. Your one-stop shop for all things uniforms. We carry a wide selection of top-quality uniforms from school to medical scrubs, plus church and choir gear. P&D Uniforms and Accessories have been in business for over 15 years. We are centrally located at 20936 Kelly Road in East Point, Michigan. Open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Give us a call today, 586-777-3801. P&D Uniforms.